want the truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news? Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, stop unfriend me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up all the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's new.
Hey, Hogs Twins here. Check out our friend Matthew Spirit at his podcast at the DUM Show and his website. Yeah, don'tunfriendme.com. Yeah.
What is going on? Don't Unfriend Me Nation. Good to have everybody here. But first, before we get started, we've got to do what we always do on this glorious day, Red Friday.
It's Red Friday. RED Friday, which stands for Remember Everyone Deployed. A movement designed to honor veterans and deployed U.S. troops by wearing a red shirt every Friday. As simple as that may be, Red Friday is a great way to back those who serve our country. Go to DUMShow.com and search for Red Friday to get your red on.
And the tonight's show is brought to you by Percival Flag Company. If you have not seen the Don't Unfriend Me show, we're sponsored by, actually sponsored, they just gave us a few flags. We love them for it. Jason and company at pfcflags.com. Make the coolest wooden flags ever. Go take a look. Say hello. Tell them we sent you. Olivia.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, wow. The screen actually is working tonight.
Oh.
Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, but the video's not.
What?
There it is. Okay.
Oh, see, I got it. I take care of things. I take care of things. That's what it's all about. Oh, it's Olivia Spirit's my wife. She's hot. I know. And you know what's funny is all the haters have been going around all day and they've been insulting me. They're like, dude, you're so lonely. You sit around and, you choke the chicken. Well, I do when my wife's not there. But most of the time she's there, so I don't have to. But it's hilarious. And I just go, yeah, you're right, dude. You're right. You're right. And then I go and I look at their wives and I'm just like, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, I guess. But you got really no room to talk. I mean, even if I was single, I wouldn't be flaunting some of the things you're showing. I'm not trying to be rude. It's been a day, Liv.
It's been a day.
It's been a day. 37,000 comments I have fielded today. 37,000. You think I'm crazy? Think I'm, oh, by the way, Matthew Spirit, host of Donut Friend Me, good to have you. I mean, it's been nothing but crazy. There's been a lot of good people who've stopped by. I mean, 2.5 million people have interacted with the site today. 2.5 million. That's incredible. And it's fun, right? It's fun. I mean, it's good. There's a lot of good people out there. And then there's a lot of nutters. I mean, just absolutely batshit. What the color is of my cave. Crazy out there. There's this one guy right now. His name's Scott. And he's a Kansas City fan who lives in Denver. What? How the hell are you a Kansas City fan when you live in Colorado?
I was a San Diego fan that lived in Colorado.
That doesn't matter. You're a loser too.
So you're calling our daughter a loser?
Yes.
Okay.
So, but he's like, oh yeah, we're just laughing at you tough guys. Blah, 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 blah. Dude, the guy's like, he's got no cardio. He doesn't have a six pack. He has a pony cake. And I think 20 years ago, yeah. The guy probably would have been a formidable opponent. Dude, you're not even close to in good enough shape. You have no cardio. I'll just run around until you're like ready to have a heart attack, and then I'll just blow you over. Stop being tough and make an argument that makes sense. Just people need to stop. People need to stop. Ramon, the Jets and the Mets, I just feel sorry for you because you're a Jets and Mets fan. I don't care where you live. You're a Jets fan and a Mets fan. When's the last time? I didn't even know they had teams anymore.
Yeah, that's where Justin Verlander went.
Who?
Yeah. Yeah, who? Who?
Yeah, I
he
know.
only won us a World Series twice.
I
but
know
that's
he didn't.
okay.
He didn't win us. He actually pitched like shit in the World Series.
That's
He's a
good point.
horrible
He
playoff
did.
pitcher. Guy hasn't won a freaking playoff game, and I don't know how long, especially against the Yankees or the Dodgers. He's trash. Here we go.
Well, they're not doing too well. They're under 500. So
Yeah, but Kate. Oh yeah, the Yankees are sucking hind tit.
no,
They're-
Mets, not the
Oh, well,
Yankees.
the Mets. I didn't even know they had a team. The Yankees are in last place in 2. Look at them.
I
They're
see
last
that they
2.
dropped.
They're horrible.
Yeah, no.
The
Verlander went to
Stros
the
have had
Mets.
their entire FU. I don't know that team. Florida University. I don't know who FU is, Ramon. Is that another obscure team that you like that hasn't won anything since basically you and I were a gleam in our father's eye? Anyway, Ramon, I've been firing all day. You are not going to win today. Dude, I am like sharper than, dude, I'm like a guy who just put 10,000 rounds down range, and you're going to want to go ahead and cold fire against me. No, dude, the barrel is warm. No, I'm not that guy today. I will crush you. In fact, I hope somebody comes on and wants to talk some smackola. I'm ready. Anyway, this screenshot, this was done at, oh my gosh, what time was it? This is like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. 776,000 interactions. This was at 2 o'clock. Here's now 2.5 million, 314,000 people playing around, 77,000 likes, 25,000 hearts, 626 laughs, 25 wowzers, 27 tears, 37 grumpy faces. That's it? 37 grumpy faces? That's not bad. The ratio to proportion on this is incredible. 105,000 reactions, 7,262 comments, 9,725 shares. And we are now at 165,000. We went from 162,000 last night at this time to, what are we at now, Livy?
165, 124,
100
125, 126.
165, 125, 120. It
It
goes,
just
it's been going
keeps
off all
going
day.
up.
It literally just sounds like just all day long. It's great. It's so good to see. And I hope tonight that translates into views. But I know Facebook will only show this to a select few because that's the way it happens. What are we talking about tonight? It's an open mic night, man. I want everyone to kind of get in here. We're going to show some videos, some things, show you the show from today. We like to do every Friday night. If you haven't seen the show from today, it's only like 11 minutes long. It's pretty funny.
Good. I just watched it.
Yeah, congrats.
It
Yeah,
was funny. Congrats. I just watched the
congrats.
show.
Congrats on watching the show, sweetie. But yeah, we're crushing it, man. Things are doing good. So the site's doing well. By the way, a new shirt. I got to pimp the shirts. You know me. I don't do this. I don't ask you guys for money. I just throw the product up there. And if you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. Just buy it. This is now there's people jealous. People are like, you're stealing his song. Dude, are you kidding me? It's the title. Does that mean we can't have shirts that have the Declaration of Independence? Do we have to go ahead and give that money and royalties to the government? Does that mean when it says I have friends in low places that we can't go ahead and make that shirt? Does that mean we can't make Red Friday shirts? Dude, it's a common saying right now. Everybody's saying this. It's just like, children or God's children aren't for sale. There's shirts like that. Go look at Etsy. Dude, get off my nuts. I designed it. I'm printing it. It's mine. And if Jason Aldean wants to sue me for it, bring it on. Bring it on. He won't sue me for this. But anyway, here it is.
It just gets him more.
It just gets him more fame.
Yeah.
So it's try that in a small town. Little cowboy hat, a little kind of a rustic shield. And then along the bottom, it's got a revolver. It's got a cowboy Bronco thing going on. It's got a 2-door saloon, some miners, saddle, a sheriff's star, a boot, a rifle across. And then it says hashtag FAFO. F around and find out. It's on sale right now. Can I tell you, we have sold a lot. Like, this shirt's crushing. Olivia, have we done well on the shirt today?
Yes. Someone is asking me an extremely important question. I have
Right,
to
but
answer.
why can't you just say how good the shirt's
The
selling?
shirt's doing amazing.
Like, it's crushing.
Yes.
Right? I mean, this is for your beautification projects, you know.
My beautification.
Yeah, like getting your nails done, your feet, getting your hair did.
Getting Hayden's more high maintenance than I am.
Yeah, she is.
Although we both need haircuts.
Yeah,
we both
so
need to go
if
for
you-
Girls' Day.
If you become a subscriber, it's $1.99 a month. You can get that 15% off. There you go. I sold it. Okay. I'm done selling for tonight, but go get the shirt, damn it. It's also Red Friday. Red Friday is Remember Everyone Deployed. 22 veterans a day commit suicide. It's really important to not only remember that, but it also to remember veterans overseas. We talk about it every single Friday. It's very important to us. Olivia is preoccupied. She's handling, she's probably going to get crushed tonight with comments because.
No, there was an extremely important question.
Oh, what's the question? 12 inches.
Not that one.
Oh, what's the next question?
What classes did we roll for our Diablo 4 Season 1?
Oh, who asked that question? Who's the
name
winner?
Is Brian Williams.
Brian Williams is a
He
freaking
knows
winner.
us so well.
Ryan, I'm rolling a Shadow Poison Rogue mixture, predominantly daggers, and I'm doing really well. Really good with feint and mobility. Doing massive burst damage DPS, but I haven't got all my gear yet. So right now, I have single-handedly the best build in Diablo. Olivia, would you agree?
Yeah, you're pretty good.
My my other rogue, which is on the Eternal Realm, is so good. When I get to world boss battles, other people stop and watch me fight. And I'm like, dude, will you start participating? It's seriously good. Dude, well, you know what? When you're averaging 160,000 a second DPS, you're doing pretty damn good. Now, I know there's guys out there that are one critting 1.6 billion because they have broken builds. But, you know, when I'm averaging, you know, in a 10-second range, anywhere from, 7 to 8 million in DPS, that's pretty good.
I'm rolling an all-electric mage.
All electric mage, very good. Her single target DPS is incredible.
I rolled an all ice mage, and I'm gonna probably roll an all fire mage at some point too. I like my mages.
But I'll be honest with you, like her ice mage is all crowd control. This is a single. She's not going to be able to do this rolling 50 and 60s. We put her in 50 and 60 dungeons. She's going to get one shotted because she has no defense. But for right now, until like level 40, 50, it's gonna be great. All right, there you go. We just did it. All right, let's go. Sorry about Diablo, folks. We like our video games here. What the hell is Diablo? Brian says it's a video game. And it's a video game that's been out for over 25 years. And essentially, it's a dungeon crawler. And you go around and you have stupid little characters, dwarves and elves and rogues and magicians. And you fight the internal damnation of hell to overthrow it for the goodness and the divinity of theocracy and angels and angelic warriors against demons. It's awesome. It makes you feel like you're fighting Satan. It's good. It's good stuff. All right, let's go. We got too much to do today. Olivia.
Yes.
I like your shirt.
Thank you.
All right, let's do this. I don't know if you guys have seen what's been going on with this whole Jason Aldean thing. Now, this is the post that I told you about, and that's going viral just a few seconds ago. And this guy made a song. Olivia, you've heard the song. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was a great song.
Great song.
It was fantastic. Great beat. And I like Jason Aldean. I like country music. I've liked some of his other songs. So.
Racist?
Nope.
By the way, folks, if you take a look at the link that I just put up, this is the free Don't Unfriend Me song and the new release from Still Point, who were here live last week. You can go to that iCloud link and download that to your heart's content. Please do. It's free. You can click that. It's a zip file, and then just throw it into your MP3s. You get both songs. You get the Don't Unfriend Me track and their new single. So please, it's free. Go ahead and do that. And yes, there are things that are free. That is it. Olivia's going to put it in the chat. For people on Rumble or Twitter, we can go ahead and post that up for you. I'll have it on the website later tonight, and you'll see it on Twitter and Facebook. You can go there and download the song. There you go. Country Music Television has banned the song. There's a few country stars who have pulled their music from CMT.
Good.
And, a lot of people are making arguments. Now, the arguments are as follows. I'm going to show you the video so you guys have a chance. Well, we can just talk about it. We don't want to be here all night. So there's a couple things they're saying. What is it they're saying? That Jason Aldean isn't from a small town. And Jason Aldean most assuredly is from a small town. And there are different types of small towns. There are literally, in the sense of the word, small towns. And then there are small towns that are separated by acres, hectares, miles of farmland. And then there's, sparsely populated. And then there's densely populated. If you want to look at something like Tomball, Texas, it's a fairly densely populated town of 12,000, and everything's kind of in one spot on top of each other. But if you look at, let's say, a certain place in Virginia, like Purcellville or Round Hill, it's fairly well spread out. And that is a completely different situation. It's really not based on the number. It's based on the population density. So when people say that, oh, this guy, he's not from a small town. Well, first of all, I'm pretty sure that Jimi Hendrix didn't fly with dragonflies. Just he took a lot of LSD, so it's possible. But it's my mistake. He didn't get on a bumblebee and go to a Spanish Castle magic area. It's pretty sure. I'm positive the Beatles didn't fly in the sky with Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. I don't think they got a jetliner and Sgt. Pepper and the band flew in the sky and saw diamonds in the sky. And Lucy, nope, I don't think so. I don't even know if Eric Clapton knew a Layla. And I'm positive the Eagles never stayed in Hotel California. I'm sure. But somehow they wrote the song. So writing about a small town doesn't necessarily mean it's a prerequisite to live in a small town. And that's a stupid argument. Liv? Yes?
A very stupid argument.
Stupid argument. So the second argument is that he had a heat stroke the other day in 80-degree weather, and that makes him a pussy. Pardon my French. I don't mean to use bad language, but that's the language I'm hearing. First of all, heat stroke has nothing, well, it doesn't have everything to do with heat. I know you hear heat stroke, you're like, oh, it's heat. It can have to do with dehydration. Heat stroke can actually be brought on by low blood sugar. It can be done by a horrible diet or having hypoglycemia. Heat stroke can happen because it is hot. It also can be the amount of activity you're doing or what you're wearing in a situation. And so to sit here and say he got heat stroke, therefore he's some sort of not a man. Listen, I have seen seals drop face first in the desert from not getting enough water.
I had a heat stroke last summer. It's not fun.
Yeah. See? And if Olivia has a heat stroke, you know. Okay. So that's stupid. Okay. So there's nothing. These are all the Democrat talking points. I'm telling you, there's no joke, folks. This is everywhere. They will not stop talking about this crap. It's pretty pathetic. Then you've got a situation where they're talking about that he cheated on his wife who was pregnant with another woman. Yeah. Okay. Garth Brooks did it too. And he wrote a song that went #1 called Thunder Rolls. And nobody said shite about that. Or maybe they did. But either way, come on.
That was one of his biggest songs. I highly
Knock it
doubt
off.
By the way, so, Judy from Rumble said Layla was Patty Boyd. So
Well, that's not Layla
it's
though.
not an actual Layla, but
There's no Layla. See, that's not fair. You can't do that. That's not Layla. So my point is dumb.
they're just pulling at strings.
These are some of the guys that are doing it. Like this guy. Look at this guy. Look at dude. Pimp
Who the
Daddy.
hell is that?
This is one of the guys that is making up this stuff. His pimp hand is strong.
Oh yeah.
I take pictures of these clowns. Somebody went ahead and did this. This weak little boy don't even bleed when he performs. Like, what? Jason Aldean tried that in a ball gown? What the hell? How stupid. This guy, I saw some of his artwork on Facebook, and I said, well, if that person didn't have a mask, he would have had a rough time. It's not bad. I like his watercoloring. His lines need work. This lady came in here and said that I'm ugly, my wife's ugly, and Jason Aldean is an ugly F-git. Agate with an F.
Okay.
Yeah, this is her. And I said, listen, lady, you don't have any room to talk. You look like Two-Face from freaking Batman.
Can you text me her name? Because she looks like someone I used to work with.
I'm sure. I'm sure she is.
In a certain state.
This guy told me that Jason Aldean's not tough. Here they are. Look at these guys. Cypress Hill. The white Cypress Hill.
That's funny.
Straight out of Bloomington.
There you go.
Straight out of Bloomington. Another punk-ass white boy. No? Come on, folks. Listen, just have an opinion. I had one lady who looks like this lady, and I left her alone. I didn't feel like I can't even show it to you. It's such a bad picture. So here's what it comes down to. Both sides have idiots. Both sides have people who like to project their inequities on others. And I don't care what you look like. I don't care if you're fat, short, slim, black, white, whatever. But if you come in and you're lobbing insults, and you're insulting me or my listeners, and you're talking about their looks, you better literally look like a shave shine monkey's ass. I'm talking like you better have porcelain features. You better look like Adonis. You better look like Kim Kardashian when she rolls out of bed with RJ. And if you don't, you're going to hear about it, especially if you're saying I'm ugly. Listen, I'm not the cat's meow, but I know this. I've never been asked for a refund. And ever since I learned how to tie a cherry stem with my tongue and lick my eyebrows, I have always been a popular human being. Right, Liv? Don't play coy. You know what happened this morning. Come on. You know what happened this morning. All right. So the whole point is this. No reason to go after Jason Aldean and his stupid stuff, okay? Here's another one that they're doing. They're saying that not only did he cheat on his wife, he didn't write the song. Most of these guys don't write the song, but he can sing the hell out of it. It's amazing. It's incredible. This isn't racist. He's simply, they're more upset that the video has Canadian footage and footage from Germany of riots. This guy's not just talking about the U.S., he's talking about the entire movement of wokeism. It's in England, it's in France, it's in Russia, it's everywhere. And everybody despises it, except for the people who are participating in it. It's kind of ridiculous. So when he is showing pictures from Canada, well, that's because Canadian people listen to his music. He is nationally known, you know. He has every right to write and use whatever stock footage he wants and just pay the royalties on it. I make videos all the time. I use stock footage. I've done national commercials. You guys have seen them. And I use stock footage for them. Who cares?
So has anyone called out Beyonce for having 25 writers on each song of hers?
Who just said that you stole it from?
I went to Google because I heard about it because someone had posted something like that Freddie Mercury wrote Bohemian Rhapsody all by himself or something like that. It was just them. And it was like 25 writers that wrote a few of her songs, and they were comparing them. And so I looked it up, and
I don't see how that's possible with songs like "If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. If you liked it, then you should have put a ring. If you liked it, then you should have put a ring on it. Shut the front door, lady.
Yeah, I don't hear anyone complaining about that.
Like if I could put like what meth, cocaine and heroin all at the same time in my left eyeball would be like, it would be like that song from Beyonce. And then what do they do in the background? What is all that crap? I wish we could play it. The whole song is obnoxious. But I don't sit here and I don't pick on Beyonce. I don't say that she's got a J-Lo booty. I don't say that she was the Wink League and Destiny's Child. I'm not a big fan of Beyonce. But you know what? She can sing whatever she wants. I don't understand why a song is an issue. Greg Carlisle says, I know you. Who does he know? Is he replying to somebody? Who do you know?
He's replying.
Shit. Who does he know?
Let me see.
If he starts saying, hey, my name is Dr. Shivago, and I healed a lifelong relationship with my best friend.
No, he's talking. Rhonda Hicks Edwards made a comment, and then Debbie Goldthwait and Lee Houston all commented on it. I don't know.
All right. Yeah. So here's what it comes down to. This song, who cares? Who gives a crap? A lot of people are like, I'm going to boycott the song, and I'm upset that it's number one. Well, guess what? The song doesn't have anything controversial in it, and everyone's upset at the video. Well, then just don't watch the video. Turn it off. I mean, we've seen some of the images that the left are putting into schools. Why aren't we upset about this? All right, we're going to watch this thing. I want. Huh?
Hypocrisy.
Hypocrisy is one. Let's go ahead and watch this show. I want to watch it. Let's do that. Is everyone cool with that? Libby cool with that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Here we go. It's 11 minutes. I know 11 minutes is a long time for some of you guys. Good morning, Don't Unfriend Me Nation. My gosh. You may notice that the ticker is up sizably from last show, like 1,300 followers in the last 24 hours. How? Well, I decided to get into the fray with Jason Aldean with this post. It's simple, just a small little call out to CMT that we have Jason Aldean's back. And we do. He's number one in the charts on iTunes. If you haven't listened to his song, Try That in a Small Town. It's doing very well. It's a good song. Great video. Honestly, shouldn't be that controversial. The words are pretty simplistic. Sorry, Greg. We usually have people come in here who are like, My name is Dr. Zimbabwe, and I'm here to go ahead and help your relationship. All I need is your social security card and your credit card, and I can make all your dreams come true. Prince Jalalipi from Kanga went ahead and sent me, and you have family who we have found a secret bloodline that are related to you, and he has left you a fortune. We get these people in here all the time. FAFO, F-A-A-F-O, F around and find out is all it's saying. And leftists are melting down, and they're making my post go viral. Thank you. There's another one. You're making my post go viral. I love it. All this. Teresa, thank you for buying a shirt just now. We appreciate it. That puts us over a lot of shirts. Thank you.
A lot of shirts.
A lot of shirts. This is doing is bringing more followers into the fray. This is just creating a larger dumb nation. And this is what I want. I want conversation. And I'm monitoring. It just went off 6 times since we've been sitting here. I've been monitoring the conversation. There's some really horrible stuff in there from the right and the left. But most of the conversations are fairly civil. Teresa, what part of Winchester are you from?
Ooh.
I could throw a rock at your place. Send us a message. Send Olivia and I a message at the end of the show. owner@don'tunfriendme.com, and we'll see about what we can do about maybe hand deliver in the shirt or something, or go buy you some lunch. Because if you're from Winchester, you're right up there with us. So thanks a lot. I appreciate you picking up that shirt. And I have to go in there and moderate and knock heads around and kick people out once in a while. But overall, it's fairly civil, which is a nice thing. But this meltdown is ridiculous. If you're upset with a song that doesn't have anything to do with racism, that doesn't have one modicum of discrimination in it or promotion of violence at all, none, zero, zilch, nada, you're barking up the wrong tree here, because the video is about those things that you all endorsed, that Maxine Waters stood on the steps and didn't condemn when you told people to get in Republicans and conservative lawmakers' faces, as you made threats about blowing up the Capitol with Madonna, where you made videos about assassinating Donald Trump, as you embraced the summer of love, 284 riots and $2.5 billion in damage. Now, I know what you're going to say, but January 6th, yeah, that's not cool either. I don't condone that. I have ripped apart the J6ers. I think it was the dumbest thing we could have done, because all it did was load your weapon with ammunition to fire back at us. One versus how many thousands of riots that the left have subjugated on the cities and towns that they live in. Come on. It's not even close. It's not even the same ballpark. Hell, it's not even the same sport. But that's fine. You can hang January 6th over our heads. Your main comment, here are the arguments. Jason Aldean, he's from a big town in Macomb, Georgia. Well, in 1976, had about 124,000 people. Now, I'm from Tomball, Texas. That's got a sizable community too, but we're spread out. Listen, if your argument that his song is invalid, that if you go to a small town and you're going to bring your crap from the inner city into it, and somehow the only thing that's going to happen in order to diffuse that situation is, wait a second. Jason Aldean says that he's from a small town, but it's 124,000. Even though I'm in a city with 3.5 million, that's not a small town. Anyone from a small town will tell you it's not about the population. It's about the population density. And you may not be able to see your neighbor for 1.5 miles. The closer you get in the town, the closer you get into the rivers and the streams, and you get into the industry and you get into the businesses, of course. But let's go ahead and be a little realistic here. Tomball, Texas is nothing. It's a tiny little place, but it's considered Houston. So if I say I'm from a small town, you know, people are going to say, you're from Ventura, California. Yeah, but I don't admit that openly. I'm a Texas boy. I'm a born-again Texas kid. Now here's the thing. If that's your argument, it's a weak argument. If your argument is he didn't write the song, most songwriters don't write their song, but he sure sang the hell out of it. He crushed it. Rhonda, I didn't know you were from Bakersfield, or did we know you're from Bakersfield?
Yeah, at one point we did.
Okay, just wanted to make, because we've lived in Bakersfield too. I mean, we've lived everywhere. I'm from everywhere, man. It's a great song. Thank you. Oh. Your argument is, oh, well, he stood in front of a building where someone was lynched. Yeah, and yes, that's probably true. Darla says Maxine Waters, her face could stop bird poop in midair. And Ryan Reynolds had his wedding at the antebellum plantation of some sort and had to go ahead and apologize because he went to a plantation. You can't go to the South without hitting a plantation. Should we go ahead and cancel Dances with Wolves because it was shot on Native American soil? Well, that's everywhere, folks. What, should we move out? Should we never show MLK ever marching in Washington again, even though Klansmen went ahead and marched just years before? Should we go ahead and never show 9/11 footage because of what happened? No more Freedom Center, no more visiting that area, no more paying respects and homage to the people who gave their lives unwillingly? Why? Because something bad happened there? Yes. Lynching is horrible. Yes. Racism is horrible. And so is burning down cities. So is indoctrinating our kids. If you're not upset by this, but somehow a song upsets you, if you think burning images of our towns and cities is okay, but sticking nude images and pornographic images so our children can see them is okay, if you think telling children that a man isn't a man and a woman isn't a woman and they can go ahead and get chemically castrated and they can go be anything they want and world will accept them, there are plenty of songs that are controversial, like A Virgin. Huge controversy with Madonna. She even did Like a Prayer too. Kissed a black guy. Oh my God. How about George Michael? How about Father Figure? I Want Your Sex. How about Two Live Crew? How about NWA? Music can be controversial. That's the beauty of the First Amendment. And Jason Aldean can sing about whatever he wants. And if he wants to sing about things that you consider racist and prejudiced, well, then you don't have to listen to it. You can just turn it off. If you wouldn't have made a big deal about this, this would have went into obscurity. This song would have been played on a couple YouTube videos. We may have seen it at a ball game or two. But no. You had to make a big deal about it. And I think truly what upsets you, leftists, is you guys are horrible at this cancel culture thing. Sure, you got Gina Carano. Yeah, you got Roseanne Barr. By the way, she's on a comeback. Gina Carano will come back too. She's doing great things. She's a smart lady. She'll be fine. You guys cancel everybody. And then you started canceling yourselves. But there's a difference between cancel culture and free market capitalism or boycotting. We're just choosing to spend our dollars elsewhere. Instead of going to Disneyland, maybe we buy Jason Aldean's #1 hit. Instead of buying Bud Light, maybe we do a microbrew instead. You guys tried to cancel, I want to make sure I say it right. You boycotted Chick-fil-A. You failed miserably. It's one of the most popular food chains in the United States. It outpaces McDonald's. How did that go for you? There's a difference between cancel culture and boycott. Boycott is simple. It's saying, I'm going to spend my dollars elsewhere. It's not going to pull my money out of Florida and just because I don't go to Disneyland, I'm going to put it somewhere else. I might go to Warner Brothers. I might go to the beach. I might go to the hotel. I might go on a swamp tour. Whatever it is, that money's going to come back into Florida. Who cares about Disney? What about all their jobs? Well, you guys don't care about jobs when you're burning down businesses. You don't care about jobs when you locked them down and stuck masks and shoved a needle in everybody's arm, told them that they're out of the military. You didn't care about the veterans' jobs. Why do you care about some employees at Disney? It'll rebound. And if you do care so much, then why don't you go to Disneyland? Why don't you make that your next 6 vacations? Why? Because it sucks. That's why. And we've all done it before. And our kids are grown up. We want to go do new things. We want to go to Hawaii. We want to go to Fiji. We want to go to the Grand Canyon. Maybe we want to go to the Capitol building and see where the cake and bread is made out of money that doesn't exist. You're just upset. Cancel culture and doxing is removing an individual's ability to make a living by tarnishing them with lies and insults, labeling them with monikers that destroys them in the public eye. Me choosing not to go to Disneyland has nothing to do with it. It's simply a revenue adjustment for them. They have to change their forecast. They have to tighten the belt and stop spending so much. Why? Well, because I'm not going to go there next year. And if they're counting on year-over-year growth, they need my dollar. So maybe they'll change some of their stupid policies that are so controversial. Or maybe they won't. But either way, the free market will figure it out. Jason Aldean has a golden parachute. He just made more money than he ever thought he would in his entire career. He is crushing it. And he will continue to crush it now. And all you've done is empowered him to make great music. It comes down to this. Stop being triggered by everything. Yes, conservatives do it too. But all we do is just simply not go there anymore. We did it with Bud Light. Yes, we got frustrated with Chick-fil-A with their diversity and equity training, but we still eat there at Chick-fil-A. Yeah, we told Target to stop selling that stuff. And guess what? They did. This is what happens in a free market. It's caveat emptor out there, baby. Buyer beware. And if the buyer stops buying, corporations need to beware. Enjoy the song or don't. It's up to you. But don't sit here and preach to us that somehow this is racist and prejudiced. What is racist is that it's a white guy with a cowboy hat and a belt buckle, and you're applying your BS about white people to him. That's racist. There is absolutely no proof that Jason Aldean or his listeners are racist. And until you do, why don't you be quiet, or you will F around and find out. Whatever it takes to keep that number going up, folks. All right, folks. Anyway, so just something to think about, something to chew on. Melanie, thanks for picking up your shirt. I appreciate it. Make sure you send in a picture. If you do pick up a shirt, send a picture. We'll get you on the Don't Unfriend Me website. Liv, your thoughts on all of this? I mean, are we being hypocrites? Are there songs where you've heard them and been like, oh, I can't stand this song, doesn't deserve to be in existence?
Yeah,
except for What the Fox Says. Oh. That song. Fuck that guy.
Yes,
Oops, pardon my French.
There are certain songs that I do not like, and there are certain artists that I don't like because of the music they release.
Is it house beats? Like, what is it?
But I do not like Uncle Kraka because
first of all, I want to say it's really important to me that you use Kraka instead of cracker, because saying cracker means it's racist, and when you say Kraka, it's okay.
Well,
and I have
Kraka.
I have Kraka friends. I am not a racist.
So.
Okay.
Anyway, his first song was about trying to convince a woman to cheat on her husband. It just pissed me off, so I don't listen to it.
Did she say yes?
I don't know. I didn't ask her.
Do you have her phone number?
Nope.
So Uncle Kraka. Okay, but
And then
you don't believe Uncle.
I don't like Sam Smith either, because all he talks about is one night stands and.
Well, yeah, that guy.
He only has one good song.
That guy's disgusting.
But I don't like him, and I don't particularly like his music. But he does have one good song that I like, and it's on my playlist. So
who's the guy that does like "I step on a grenade for ya"?
It's Bruno Mars.
That guy sucks. That guy sucks. He's just overrated. Completely trash.
I'm completely open to pretty much every genre of music. I do not like hardcore rap, and I do not like death metal, where all you can hear is "ah."
You don't like Public Enemy?
No, I don't.
What?
I never liked rap.
Okay.
Eminem's about as far as I
What about
go.
Dre?
No.
What if it was?
I mean, I'll listen to it with you, but as far as like the rap today, no, I don't like the hardcore rap. That's
all right, but that's not my point. The point is like, do you feel that NWA should be censored for F the police?
Yeah, I really do.
What?
Yep.
See, so make the argument. Yeah. See, I completely disagree with you. This is gonna be fantastic.
I mean, I understand why they did it. and
Why
I
did they do
understand Well, I mean, I was pretty young when it was released, but I guess it wasn't during like Rodney King and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I can understand why it was released.
And the Los Angeles Police Department was inherently corrupt. I mean, they would thumb the scales. They were involved in peddling drugs. They were involved in staying sentences based upon prosecutors, bribery, having sex in cars with prostitutes on the street. I mean, some really bad shit. Los Angeles Police Department was completely garbage. So, Ice Cube, Dre, and Ease, they all were like, F the police. And I don't say I would agree with it, and I certainly don't believe in F the police, but I certainly defend their right to say it. They have every right to say it.
Yeah, I mean, they do. I mean, I don't.
So what are you trying to say
with it? I mean, I've never listened to the whole song, so I don't even really know.
No, there's really nothing.
Exactly.
There's really nothing. I mean, it's literally just ego stroking, and then, Carla, thank you. Carla loves your shirt. You can find it at thedumshow.com.
Exactly.
Go pick it up if you want to.
It's a hat too. You can buy the hat too.
You buy the hat too. We got it over there. And then we got a new shirt today, just in case, Jason Aldean. Try that in a small town. You did it. You mentioned the shirt. It wasn't my fault. All right. But I listen to NWA. I grew up on NWA. I grew up on gangster rap. I loved it. I grew up in that community. I went to a school where I was one of the only white guys, or at least that's the way it felt. But I don't think that should be censored, right? I don't think there's any music that should be censored, and I just it's too easy to turn off. where I
Yeah,
have
it's like if you don't like it, turn it off. I mean, that's what I do. I don't like it, so I don't listen to it.
holy crap. Rhonda Hicks just said something that I love this woman.
What?
She goes, Dr. Demento would never make it today. Oh yeah, they call him the streak. The fastest thing on 2 feet. I listen to Dr. Demento every single Saturday. And he would come on at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and then on till like midnight. And they would play funny songs. Weird Al, beat it, beat it. They would do
It was Eat It from Weird Al.
Eat It, right? Eat It would come on, and then they would do the streak. They would do Klingons on the starboard bow, starboard bow, starboard bow. They would just do all sorts of crazy ass songs during Christmas. Santa, run over by a reindeer, all that. And Dr. Demento was fantastic, man. Just this kooky, crazy, Boston. Is that freedom rock? We'll turn it up, man, type guy. And we listen to Dr. Demento all the time. I love Dr. Demento. See, Rhonda, people wonder, like, dude, how do you know so much? I don't know. I remember everything. And ask Olivia. She'll tell you. I remember everything.
Unfortunately.
Everything. Every time she says something, it's right here.
It really sucks in the middle of a fight. It really, really does. Really.
Anyway, so it just comes down to this. Is I'm all for unequivocal free speech in every facet, unless it involves children. That's it. Is that I believe that my children my wishes should be represented whenever I'm not present when it comes to my kids, and so does my wife. Other than that, say whatever the hell you want. If you want to go up there and say Zig Heil, that's fine. I have every right to verbally punch you in the face. And I don't believe that should ever change. Jetlag says Jason Aldean isn't going to have his livelihood taken away. His whole base is right wing. No, Jetlag, we're not worried about that. Who's Jetlag again? Is it? It's not Bubba, is it?
That's Donald.
Donald.
That's the one. That's the guy who has like 15 names because every time he comes on the show, he changes his name.
No, that's not him.
Yeah.
No, it's not. That's the same guy. I was wrong. That's not him.
Pretty sure
it doesn't matter.
It is because he said his name is Donald to me one time.
I don't think it's the same Donald.
Okay.
But the other guy's not Donald. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, I'm sure that is Donald, but that's not the guy's name who did that. It doesn't matter. The point is, I don't care about Jason Aldean's livelihood. What I care about is censorship. And where does it stop? When do they start saying that, okay, it's not just Jason Aldean that can't say things. What about this show? What if they go ahead and say, well, you know what? It's not appropriate. They did this for the last 2 years. There has to be a line in the sand. And it used to be that Democrats, they've lost their identity. They used to be the party of free speech. They were the party of the ACLU who stood up for Nazis in the United States. It's a fact, folks. ACLU had the ability to ultimately let the Supreme Court and let state legislatures censor Nazis and the Klan. And the ACLU went and fought for them to be able to say what they wanted to say. They wound up being right. Because if you don't allow people to speak, how do you know where the dumb, crazy, psycho people are? If you don't allow people to have a voice, that's what you get with shootings, is people hold it in and they don't let it out. We need a way to identify the insane people, and the best way to do that is let them talk. And all you got to do is turn it off if you don't like what they're saying. You don't like what I'm saying, turn it off. You don't have to take away my ability to speak. All you got to do is take away your ability to listen.
It is him, by the way. He just said that's me.
Oh.
So it's the kid that we talked to a couple times.
Oh, okay. If it's the kid we talked to.
Yeah, it's the kid that we
great.
talked to that he changed
Well,
his name.
then I see, here's what I don't understand. Why doesn't Aldean have a right to call out BLM? Doesn't make any sense. Why can't he call out the rights? Do we believe that there was attention brought to this? Is everybody okay with this, that every time something happens in America that people don't like, they just start burning cities down and looting? Why is that okay? And why isn't it okay for Jason Aldean to say something? I'm not saying Jason Aldean's my hero. I feel I have brought a ton of awareness to this type of stuff, but I don't have his audience. But all they had to do was shut up about it. Just let him make his stupid song. And then nothing would have happened. But by them going ahead and blowing it up and canceling him on CMT, all of a sudden, everybody cares about it. The guy makes millions of dollars off this music, and he's going to continue to write this. Doesn't make any sense.
He just would keep their mouth shut, it would never grow. I mean, just like this show, people come on who are haters and, call us name it. And guess what? Our audience grows because it goes onto their feed.
Well, look at how beneficial it's been for me. I mean, I love it. I'm just like, Jason Aldean, please write another song, because there's a debate happening on my page, and people are upset. Most of the people are coming in and doing one-liners, and they're just, stabbing at people. But the true message is you can have a great conversation. Go on the page right now. There's people in there who actually want to talk about this. I've had a couple of them today. Amy Stamcombe will tell you. Haley Adams says, I will never... Haley Adams. Why does that sound familiar?
Haley Adams.
Why does she look familiar?
I don't know. I need to see a picture of her.
Haley Adams. I don't know. Maybe I got a lot of names floating around in my head. She says, I will never judge anyone. If you're gay, straight, bi, lesbian, black, you forgot transgender. No kidding. White, brown, orange, blue. Blue. What are you, like green? Is there green? Where's green? You left green people out? Racist. Short, tall, fat, skinny. That's fine. That's who you are, and we all have our differences, and we will all believe in different things. We dress in what we like and love. We watch our favorite shows. Oh, this is almost poetic. Movies, etc. Maybe I got to do the voice with this. I'm sorry. Let me let me do it right. I will never judge anyone if you're gay, straight, bi, lesbian, black, white, brown, orange, blue, purple, red, short, tall, fat, or skinny. That's fine. That's who you are. And we all have our differences, and we all believe in different things. We dress in what we like and love. We watch our favorite shows, movies, etc. It doesn't matter. We are who we are. Not everyone is going to get along and agree and like everything that I do. That's fine and no big deal. We are all our own person, not one of us. Sorry. Proper English, is the same. So what? Be neutral and just respect one another, no matter their beliefs. Just be your own person. Pink little hearts. XOXOXO. It's fantastic. It's fine. I mean, that's the whole spirit, right? The moment you come in and you decide that your rights are more important than somebody else's is the moment that I take umbrage. Who cares? If this was... Sam Smith. Yeah, I called out Sam Smith for his devil costume and stuff and said, this is weird. And then people corrected me and they said, well, this is what he does and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, he has the right. I stand by his right. I don't have to like it. And at any time I could have turned it off. And trust me, I did. I got a boner. It felt weird. I said, I better turn this off. This is... So I turned it off. And the reason why is because it's just not my particular cup of tea. Now, if they were wearing black vinyl, now that would have been something different. The point is, we have to have the right to say what we want. We have to have a right to vote who we want. We have to believe in what we want without equivocation. And it doesn't matter if it's the government. It doesn't matter if it's our peers or our fellow citizen. Nobody has the right to tell you what to think. Nobody has the right to tell you what to consume. It's up to you. Let's just relax. All right, good. There are some things that I wanted to show you on Twitter. And we are accepting call-ins.
Yes.
We haven't had a... What?
One of the picture that you showed earlier, and I said she looks really familiar, like I used to work with her. Could you just text me her name? Because now it's driving me nuts.
I don't know her name. That's why I put her picture on. I have no idea.
I thought she made comments or something.
No, well, she did, but... Okay.
Come on, you got to find this.
Say what you said real slow again. She made comments today.
Well,
you want me to go find...
You remember everything, remember?
Yeah, but remembering and be able to find it on Facebook right now. I mean, my God, I can't even find my brain on Facebook. I'm like...
If anyone's involved in that conversation, please send me the name. I'm really curious.
I have way too much going on. There's no way I can recall. So... Here's some things I wanted to show you. This shows that the party, the ACLU, the NAACP... Rainbow Coalition, the groups that truly make up the Democratic Party as far as free speech and individual liberty are dead. This is ridiculous. I want you guys to listen to this real quick and just specifically listen to the actual words of Democrat representatives encouraging free speech. Not subtly, but absolutely blatantly. Like, here's what we have to do to censor. Listen to this. Liv, you too.
Okay.
Stop writing people.
Okay.
Please. And I got to zoom your camera back. Hold on. Maybe.
Uh-oh, you're yawning already.
I'm fine. Thank you, Gaylord Smith, for your purchase of a shirt. Gosh, shirts are selling like crazy, guys and girls. Here we go.
No right given to the people of the United States is absolute, and that includes the right to free speech.
Protective measures were taken to take down disinformation about vaccines and about the nature of the virus and about protective measures we could take, including masks, including social distancing.
We are not trying to censor speech. We are simply trying to create factually correct information to prevent harm to people.
It was public health measures to protect lives. Again, something should be celebrated.
No right.
I'm going to be showing you the RFK video, not at least the opening statement where they censored the hell out of him. Yeah, I'm going to show you this. And here's the thing about RFK, okay? I don't need you to get all uppity and defend him. The guy's got some wacko ideas, okay? He really does. But he has the right to say them. He has every right to say them, and especially when you call him as a witness. Can you imagine that going into court and them going, all right, why don't you go ahead and take the stand? And you're like, yeah? And then all of a sudden you get Sam Kinison. You're like, Mrs. Spear, how are you? Screaming at you. You're like, geez Louise, what the frack did I just do? What? Why are you yelling at me? Why are you belittling me? Why are you reclaiming your time every 5 seconds? It literally is ridiculous. I'm going to tell you what I pray for. Olivia, mock me.
I'm on it.
Mock me. I pray with everything in my soul that I get called to a Senate Oversight Committee. Public, open door. I want that more than anything. And the moment that they had me go up there and swear in, first of all, their subpoena power is a joke. They can't find me. They can't find me in contempt. They can't put me in jail. They have absolutely no arresting powers whatsoever. It's all mockery. You can walk out anytime you want. But I would love to first say my opening statement. Ladies and gentlemen of the House or the Senate, depending upon who, I would like to go ahead and say the following. I am here at the behest of your request. And as an American citizen, you are not a court. You have subpoena power, but you don't have the absolute power to punish me if I don't take part in it. I'm here of my own free will, of my own recognizance. I can leave at any time, and in no way, shape, or form can you punish me if I decide to. So I will set a few ground rules since you requested me to be here, and I'm going to testify on matters that are important to you. And truly, I don't really have any desire or inclination to hear anything you have to say, unless you are going to assign me to make a decision that you are empowered with and put me in your place. If not, I'm not here for you. I don't want to listen to your 5-minute diatribe about your political ideologies. I don't want to hear you talk about conservatism. I don't want to hear you talk about liberalism. I don't want to hear you talk about Donald Trump or Joe Biden or Mickey Mouse or Captain Kangaroo. I'm here to answer your questions. So please be short and concise so I can get out of here as fast as humanly possible. If you cannot comply and follow these simple requests, as I will listen to yours, you can take a flying fuck off a short cliff. That is what I would say to them in that manner, in that tone, and everything else.
I'm reclaiming my time.
Listen, bitch.
No, I'm reclaiming my time.
Sorry.
I'm reclaiming my time.
If I don't get my time, I swear to God, I'm going to...
Chairman, I'm reclaiming my time.
I've got Gizzy or Busy or whatever Gillespie cheeks, goodness. Man. I can blow that trumpet out. How hard is it? Why doesn't anyone say that? I'm not here for you, you sanctimonious frickin' peddlers of nonsensical BS. You want me to be on the show. I have no desire to be here. So ask your questions. But if you think I'm going to sit here unless you ramble for 5 minutes and make a campaign soundbite commercial for the evening news, you're freaking crazy. I didn't vote for you. I'm not your constituent. I don't have to listen to your shit. You don't hold any power over me. Oh, you're the senator for Alaska. I could give a rat's ass. I'm not going to live in Alaska. You have no power over me. My city council member has more jurisdiction over me than you do. Who do these people think they are? And why do people tolerate them? I got to give Kennedy props. The cojones on this guy, steroids or no. Little joke. I didn't know the guy's testicles were that big. He crushed them. But for them to sit there and say that they're openly subverting free speech and that they have to that no constitutional amendment is protected, that the first 10 amendments are not protected. Listen, we understand that 9 of the 10 of the Bill of Rights have been altered in one way, shape, or form. Quartering of troops, the Third Amendment has not. Every other one has had limitations imposed on it. The first has, the fourth have, the second have. Look at the 7th, look at the 8th, look at the 9th. They've all have some sort of limitations and have been altered from their original context. Amendments have the right to put certain restrictions, but not for the power of the government. If certain things restrict our powers or changes in the way that we legislate ultimately wind up harming the rights of individuals, they expand them. You're not supposed to take rights away. The Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights, the articles are not for the government. It's to protect us from the government, and people better start realizing that soonest. I don't know who these people think they are, but they have absolutely no power over you. So if you ever find yourself, when you have a politician questioning you, I don't care if it's a mayor, a gubernatorial, a senator, I don't care if it's Santa Claus. They hold no jurisdictional power over you. They can't do anything to you. They can't arrest you. They can't even give you a parking ticket. You could wipe your ass with whatever's on the desk and throw it on the ground, and they can't do a damn thing. Now, am I asking you to be that brazen? No. But what I'm asking you to do is protect your rights and your liberties. They work for you. It's not the other way around. I hope I get asked to be at a congressional hearing any day. And just to let any senator, state legislator know right now, I'm willing and able. I'm here for you. I will show up. It's literally an hour and 10-minute drive. I will be there with bells on. I'll even wear a suit. But what I'll not do is sit there and have you talk to me like I'm a petulant child. This is Kennedy. And this is absolutely disgusting. Like I said, I don't necessarily agree with everything Kennedy says. I don't necessarily like everything he says. I think he's a gun grabber. I don't think he's a Republican in any way, shape, or form. I think this guy doesn't like vaccines, and that's fine. But you know what? I don't care. He has a right to say it. Watch this. We will interrupt it a little bit in between.
I'd like to just respond.
Liv, I want to get your take on this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Briefly, to some of the, what I would call defamations that have been just applied to me by the ranking member. I'm happy to talk to you about my opinions on these issues, what you have stated and tried to associate me with through guilt by association is simply inaccurate. Virtually everything, every statement that you just made about me is inaccurate. I have never advised Black Americans not to receive vaccines. At one point you say I'm anti-vax, and that's a bad thing. The other moment you point out that all my children are vaxxed. I'm fully compliant with the vaccine schedule myself, except for COVID. I took flu vaccines for 20 years straight. I have never been anti-vax.
Maureen, some people have some problems seeing the text. All caps are fine. Listen, I'm not that anal retentive. There was a time where I didn't know if people were yelling or whatever, but let's not worry about that. It's okay. All caps are good. Don't worry.
I have never told the public avoid vaccination. The only thing I've asked for, and my views are constantly misrepresented, so that the truth of what I believe is not, we're not allowed to have a conversation about that with the American people, which I believe vaccines should be tested with the same rigor as other medicines and medications. You tried to associate me a moment ago with the replacement theory, which is racist.
No, I did not.
So Donald says RFK looks buffed in a suit. RFK looks buff without a shirt. I work out like a sieve. I am a fairly well-built human being. This guy makes me look like a putz. He is yoked to the nth degree. He is ripped. Liv, have you seen the photos?
Yes, you showed me.
He is yoked. I'm not terribly confident without a shirt on. I mean, I've got a good sized chest, some decent arms, and you can see those abs on a good day when it's going to rain. But I'll tell you what, this guy is yoked. You going to bed?
No.
What are you doing?
I came in to say hi because I came back from practice.
Oh, hi, buddy. Love you. Anyway, yeah, shirt on, shirt off. The guy's yoked.
Can I get on Roblox with Jack?
Yes.
You
Time
had the
belongs to the
replacement
gentleman
theory.
from-
I
I
said
did
my
not-
colleagues.
Time belongs to the gentleman from
I
Kentucky.
denounce that theory. It is racist, and I have never endorsed it or had any association with it. Our film on a medical, by the way,
medical apartheid?
Bill Buxton, who is the black CDC official who ultimately exposed the Tuskegee experiment, tried for years and years to appeal.
You
to
can sit here and say anything you want. There are a few things that impacted COVID infected people. Olivia, what do you know what they were? What were like some of the things that truly were when it came, like who did it affect?
It people with obesity, asthma, diabetes, any underlying conditions like that.
Underlying conditions were huge. Was there a certain demographic of people that it affected? Maybe not with underlying conditions, age, race, color, sex, creed.
I know children were very much affected by it at all.
Right, they
but
were
it was
resistant.
elderly. It was like 65 and older or something that it was
had a
really
higher
affected.
increase. Yeah. The African American community also.
Okay.
But
I didn't know
also
that.
the African American community was extremely resistant to vaccines. So if they happened to listen to RFK and then they were already resistant, that's not really a fair stat, considering that the African American community were very suspect. A lot of people associate that conservatives and right wingers were suspect, but the second largest demographic was African Americans, which is absolutely true. And the reason why is African Americans have every reason in the world to be suspect of the United States government when it comes to vaccines. From the Tuskegee experiments, from giving them gonorrhea, from giving them syphilis, from the first polio experiments, from some of the experimental shots they gave them from entrance into the military. I mean, you can look at the way AIDS was handled and the HIV in the inner cities. Can we stop pretending that the American government have not been absolutely dirt to African Americans? So to sit here and associate that their trepidation with RFK is ridiculous. RFK is simply saying that the poorer communities throughout history have ultimately kind of been the guinea pigs of vaccines and experiments from the government, and you should be trepidatious about that. You should be hesitant. Who wouldn't be? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's like if you're traveling in Bosnia or Herzegovina, or if you're going in Syria or Egypt, you're going to have your head on a swivel because you're a white person, a white Christian. It doesn't mean anything other than be aware of your surroundings, and be aware of your circumstances. But yeah, Liv, you're absolutely right.
CDC to stop it for 40 years. Finally, he got relief by walking into my uncle's office in the building next door. Teddy held hearings and ended the experiment. I remember that very well. And to say that I created a film that encourages blacks not to get adequate medical care is just completely.
Yeah, his vocal cords can't process the overall wavelength and frequency. It's kind of like a hiatal hernia in the chest and the esophagus, but it's on his vocal cords, and it makes him sound like this. And if you listen to older people, very older, a lot older people, they will have this same condition. It is a normal condition. And trust me, when I first heard it, it bothered me. And now it doesn't actually. I think it's quite endearing that he's able to articulate himself in such a strong fashion and move through this obvious slight that some people will consider to be a disability, and I don't. I think it makes me listen to him more intently and clearly.
Just use my words,
It's the witness's time. Do not censor the witness.
I'm not censoring the witness. I'm not censoring the witness. He's still talking.
It's my time, and I've given it to the witness. Do not censor him.
I'm not censoring him.
If the views that you and others have applied to me, I've attributed to me, if they were actually true, I can see why I shouldn't be able to testify here today. Those are not true. These are defamations and malignancies that are used to censor me, to prevent people from listening to the actual things that I'm saying. And I think, Ranking Member, that we should have a real conversation rather than an exchange of ad hominem attacks. And answer very quickly to your question, the term malinformation was coined to describe information that Facebook and Twitter and the other social media sites understood was true, but that the White House and other federal agencies wanted censored anyway for political reasons because it challenged official orthodoxies. I'll give you one example. I was included in a group called the Disinformation Dozen. And Facebook and others were asked to censor us, which they did. And by the way, my Heck Aaron post, it was taken down. My whole Instagram account with 900,000 people was taken down because of that. Oh, they knew, Facebook knew that the Disinformation Dozen claim, and what they said was the Disinformation Dozen came from this very shady group called the Center for Preventing Digital Hate in England that's funded by dark money that should be looked into. They claim that 65% of the vaccine misinformation on the internet was generated by those 12 people.
Bullshit.
Facebook itself said that is impossible. That is false information. We know that not to be true. And yet, when the White House asked them to censor the...
Do you guys... Okay, let me explain something, okay? And this is really important for people who don't get this. And Olivia, you may not have heard this. Okay, so I had 2.5 million interactions today with my site. Does everyone get that? Okay. But on a daily basis, there are hundreds of trillions of interactions on Facebook. Because you're thinking about it from a very myopic and a linear standpoint. Is that 2.5 million interactions for that 1 second of time that somebody interacted with my post in a day? Well, that's not the way this works. Or in a second, or in a fraction of a second. That's not the way time works here. It's exponentially growing because if you look on Facebook in an hour, you may interact with 1,000 posts. Now, if there are a couple 100 billion interactions in a day done by people individually, each one of them may do 100 interactions. Now do the math. So you're thinking of it as 2.5 million is people. It's not. It's simply in that fraction of a moment that somebody was surfing, they interacted with my post. So 2.5 million, although is a lot, it's actual people going into it, making a comment, that 350,000 mark, which is important. So for anyone to say that 65% of the information about COVID that was being released to the public through Facebook was done by 12 people is physically impossible. There's no way. They could have 10,000 people working, and there's no way. The amount of interactions that are generated on Facebook, it would require millions of accounts working harmoniously together systematically to encompass all length of time throughout a day, simultaneously monopolizing, and the algorithm will not allow you to do that. So even Facebook came out and said, this is crap. There's no possible way this can happen. In fact, these 12 aren't even a blip on our tracking software. There's not even, they didn't even monopolize 0.00000000001% of interactions on Facebook. Just because 2.5 million people went and saw my post, it doesn't mean 2.5 million people interacted and shared it and done something like that. That is what makes Facebook so gargantuanly scary and terrifying, is the amount of teraflops a second that are being processed through this site. And that's just Facebook alone. The amount of information that is being transferred through all these social media sites is the best way that I can describe it. The only way I can describe it is comparing Niagara Falls and the amount of energy that's being transferred from Niagara Falls and compare it to the sun. And that's Facebook. Now go ahead and put a couple of hundred other suns, and that can be Twitter, and that can be Snapchat, and that can be Instagram, and whatever. And then you'll understand the amount of data and the amount of energy that's being transferred and disseminated from those channels. Think about when you scroll the hundreds of posts that you see. Now times that by 2.5 billion users. And that's just in a fraction of time of 1 or 2 seconds. Does that make sense how big this is? So by the government saying this, not only was it a lie, it was absolutely impossible that Russia interfered with an election. There's no way. I could spend $100,000 a day and I may penetrate 2% of the United States. Maybe. Maybe. And how do I know all this? Well, because I advertise for Facebook for companies. I had $2.5 million budget to play around with on Facebook for years, and I became a master of it. But I'm telling you, I could spend $100,000 a day, and I may impact 2% of the United States. Maybe. Because that's not the way Facebook works. Facebook curtails the information and what you see to your likes and your preferences and your most recent history. So you would have to click on something that was previously made by these people. No, not 0.2%. No, I could absolutely get relatively easy 30 million exposures, but interactions, there's no way. I could, out of that 30 million, just like you're seeing from my site, maybe 2 to 3 million interactions a day, maybe. And there were times when we were spending, $1,000 a day on boosting posts and advertising, and I would get 1.5 million interactions with my videos. But those interactions don't encompass seconds in the day or hours in the day. It's microseconds in the day. That's why the longer you stay on, the better it is for the algorithm. It's better for Facebook. Does that make sense? Okay. I just wanted to put that in perspective. I know that's hard to process and disseminate. But the amount of information on these social media channels is ridiculous. Just absolutely ridiculous.
Disinformation doesn't, including me. They did it anyway when they knew it to be untrue.
So a lot of people are asking, well, who is this? What happened? This is Debbie Wasserman Schultz did this, everything else. So this isn't just one group of people. These are the Democrats who don't want him to have an opinion, that don't want him to say anything. And Olivia, all right, let me ask you a question. Do you think is this about COVID or is this about something else?
I think it's about something else.
What do you think it is?
I think it's about him running for president.
That's exactly it. They are going to do whatever they can to discredit him because this guy, in my opinion, he'll take 12% of the vote. And what does that mean? Republican, anybody will win. This guy is the Ross Perot for the Democrats. They know this. They're aware of this. And they're going to do whatever they can to shut him up and shut him down. He's very popular. And people are joking right now. Like, Joe Biden's mopping the floor with him. Mopping the floor with him. Yeah. But 12% of the vote is a freaking abortion for the Democrats. If 12% of the vote and the electorate go for Kennedy, we will have a Republican in the White House. And if Donald Trump gets the primary nomination, he'll be the president. So they have to do whatever they can to destroy RFK. But they also have to be very careful because he's running as a Democrat. Remember what they did to Bernie Sanders? They backdoored him with superdelegates. There's no doubt in my mind that they're going to backdoor RFK because I think he's going to poll well in the primary. I think he'll narrow the gap. Just like I believe DeSantis can narrow the gap with Trump. I don't know if he can close it, but he'll narrow it. And he may very well be on the debate stage and be one of the final people against Trump. And I think there's a good chance of that, especially if Trump's legal problems continue. But in the end, RFK is the dragon's bane to Biden, as much as DeSantis could be. A lot of people are worried about Gavin Newsom. I don't want to worry too much about Newsom. Newsom is waiting in the wings, and he won't jump until the Democratic Party tells him so. But RFK could absolutely throw a monkey wrench of epic proportions in this election. So a lot of people are saying, gosh, I hope RFK runs. If we're hoping for RFK to run, then that doesn't bode well for Donald Trump, because that means we're pinning our hopes on a third-party candidate. I want to show you this, Olivia.
Okay.
Can't children just wait till they're 18?
Adolescence is hard and puberty is hard. What if you're
This
going...
is Rachel Levine. He is a rear admiral for the Department of Health and Human Services for the Biden administration. He's a guy.
By your leave, I'd like to just
And
respond
just got...
briefly,
Hold on a second.
to some of the
through the wrong puberty?
Just got...
What if you inside...
Woman of the Year or some shit, some award. Total guy. Those pantyhose are basically like neoprene, like a wetsuit to get through the hairy legs. I want you to listen to this and just carefully listen to this. This one's not going to make you happy.
What would you say to folks who think that they're being reasonable by saying, why can't children just wait till they're 18?
Adolescence is hard and puberty is hard. What if you're going through the wrong puberty? What if you inside feel that you are female?
What would you say to folks who think that they're being reasonable by saying, why can't children just wait till they're 18?
Adolescence is hard and puberty is hard. What if you're going through the...
So, cutting the fat and reading between the lines, what if? So, what happens if you're in the wrong body? Olivia, our child comes up to us and says, you're in the wrong body. What is your response?
Okay, I support you, but you're not doing anything about it until you're 18. If you want to dress like a male or dress like a female and act like it, fine. But you'll use the bathroom of, if it was Hayden, you'll use a girl's bathroom. If it was Ethan, you'll use a boy's bathroom and the locker rooms and all that. And when you're 18, if you still feel this way, I will support you and help you through it.
All right, so I think that's a fair. I think the cat wants out. You mind letting her out?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. No, she's laying down now.
Okay.
It's a fair assessment of what most parents would probably do. What do you think Levine is saying?
It sounds like he's saying adolescence and puberty is hard, but it's even harder if you're experiencing it in a body you don't think is yours. So we should let them transition at an early age. That's
Okay.
what I'm taking out of it.
See, I think that's what he wants you to think, but I'm going to dive deeper.
Okay.
Obviously, the only thing I would add to that is I'd get my child therapy, right? I would absolutely. He doesn't say that. Listen to the words again without
Okay.
watching the video.
Okay.
wrong puberty? What if you inside feel and puberty is hard? What if you're going through the wrong puberty?
Okay, so what if you're going through the wrong puberty, which isn't outward like you're talking about, isn't somebody wanting to wear a different dress or be called by a different name. It's actually something internal, which is chemically done in your body. What if you're going through the wrong puberty? So what he's specifically saying, he's not talking about transitioning. He's not talking about making a choice to be a man or woman or a woman or a girl or boy. He's saying that your body is chemically going through something incorrect and it must be fixed. How do you fix something that's chemically going on in your body?
You have to take medicine or something to counteract it.
Correct. You have to alter the chemical properties of whatever's happening in your body and synthetically alter them with another substance in the body. And this is what chemical castration is. This is what puberty blockers are. This is the same thing as birth control that stops your menstruation process. Mm-hmm. You have to take something that ultimately alters who you are. Let me ask you a question. Taking the pill, what are some of the side effects that you had when you're taking the pill?
It's been so long. I don't remember. It's been so long.
Okay, so it's not really important, but would you agree that there were side effects when you took the pill?
Yes, and when I first started taking it, the good outweighed the bad, so I continued to take it.
Okay.
After kids, the bad outweighed the good, so I stopped taking it.
Okay, so here's my argument about the whole thing, and walk with me through this. But there's obviously water retention, there's mood swings, there's more aggressive periods, but they're maybe shorter, migraine headaches, things to that effect, or all side effects. And then coming off of them, there's a huge kick. Right,
Yeah.
right. So here's the thing. When somebody says, I have cancer, is there a right and wrong dilemma with treating the cancer?
I would say yes and no, because it really depends on.
Got it. Stage 4, not looking good. Is there a moral dilemma with treatment?
Yeah, that would be if there's no hope and they're in pain and no amount of chemo or anything, and it's basically they're in hospice and it's just make them comfortable.
Right, but that's not a moral. That's not a moral dilemma.
It would be if they want to basically medical suicide.
Honey, okay.
Am I not? No.
That you just brought it. That's a moral dilemma, right?
Okay.
The ramifications of medical assisted suicide. That's a moral dilemma. But that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Is there a moral dilemma with taking chemotherapy?
No, I don't think there would be.
Unless you have a religion or something like Christian Science that tells you that you can't do it. And some people just say, I don't want you to remember me that way. Well, that would be a moral dilemma. Okay.
Yes.
Who decides that dilemma when it comes to cancer? Or is it the mom or the dad? Or
if it's a minor,
it's not
parents.
a minor. It's okay. It's a minor. Whose decision is it?
It's going to be the parents.
Okay. And is there anything that child can say to stop something that the parents want?
Not legally. No.
That's correct. In any way, shape, or form. Now, the doctors are going to say, well, we're going to go ahead and listen to what you have to say. But ultimately, it's up to your parents. Mm-hmm. And that's the truth.
Yep.
And that's the way it works. Okay. So who decides? Is it the doctor or is it the parents?
The parents. The doctor will give you all the information and tell you your options, but it's the parents' ultimate decision on what happens.
Okay, great. So therefore, certain and pretty much all medical procedures,
every medical procedure when it comes to minors,
is given advice from the doctor and then given to the parents, and the parents make the decision with the kids, but ultimately the parents make the decision, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And in that situation, the dilemma is solved by the patient and the parents, right?
Yes.
Doctor doesn't get to decide. Nobody, they can recommend, but they can't decide.
No, they cannot.
Okay. So here's my question. Who decides what's right or wrong puberty?
I guess it would be the person who's going through puberty, but it's such a hard time. There's so many things that is going through people's heads at that time.
Let's see. Now, this is the trick.
Yeah.
See, this is what liberals do. They ask you a question that has no premise.
Yeah.
See, they trap you. Well, what happens if you're going through wrong puberty? First of all, I don't accept the premise of your freaking comment and your statement. There is no such thing as wrong or right puberty. Your body is going through a natural chemical progression that is designed by the chemical makeup of your body and your chromosomes. Period. So when you say wrong puberty, you're talking about something that is a physical manifestation, not a mental one. And for you to apply right and wrong to it are two different things. Now, the overall objection might be, well, then what about cancer? Is cancer a natural progression in the body?
No,
it's not. That is completely different. It's a malignancy and needs to be removed because it can alter your life. But you going through puberty in no way, shape, or form endangers you to anything other than your mental decision to be something you're not. And maybe, just maybe, puberty is necessary to reach your full potential.
I would agree with that.
So how do you know you don't want to be a man if you've never been a man? How do you know you don't want to be a woman if you have never been a woman?
Yep.
Therefore, puberty is necessary and a part of the journey. So simply telling the child, we need to wait. We have to wait. We owe it to you to wait. Because if we don't, we're robbing you of a potential future that you have no idea whether it will be something that you want or don't want. And we can have that conversation after you go through it. But it would be very similar to buying the tickets to Disneyland, seeing it on TV, driving to the gates, and then saying, I don't want to go and I don't like it. Wait, why? We're right there. We're ready to go ahead and go into Disney. I won't like it there. Well, you've never experienced it. Why don't we go in there and see what it's like, go through the process, and then you can decide whether we go again or not. What they're saying is somebody's coming in and saying, this isn't the right place for you. This isn't the right experience for you. I'm going to decide that for you, put it in a child's hands, do it against parents' will, starting at the age of 14, and give you treatment that can ultimately change your life forever without you having experienced any of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like having the kids try new food and saying, hey, let's try this new food. And they're like, I don't like it. Well, you've never had it before. How do you know you don't like it?
Right, but more importantly, if they don't continue the process of trying different, they may never experience it again. See, that's the difference. You're stealing something. Once you chemically castrate a human being, they will never be able to recover.
It can have detrimental effects. And regardless if you continue down that path, if you were born a female and you continue down that path of, wanting to become a male, it can have detrimental effects because your brain is still growing. Organs and everything, your heart, it's still growing. And if you do anything like that to your body, it can stunt the growth of your brain and your heart and other things. And it can have detrimental effects to your health long after.
I think it's a very dangerous thing to assume that a child is ready to negotiate the weight of a decision that they have no experience and no basis that they're about to go through. It blows me away that you're going to tell somebody you're not going to need your leg. I identify as a one-legged person. Let's cut off your leg. Why do you need permission to have a limb removed, to have a finger removed? Why do you need permission to have ear piercings? Why do you need permission to get a tattoo, but you don't need permission to have your penis cut off, your breasts removed, or to be chemically castrated? How does that make any sense?
It doesn't.
If you were to talk to liberals and say, we're going to start removing people's feet at the ankles, people would flip the frack out. If people think that removing a penis isn't debilitating and a lifelong alteration that you cannot come back from, then you have never broken a pinky toe, which can ultimately change your gait, how you walk, how you move, how you run, how you step. It can impact your back, your posture. It can create chronic pain, and that's just a pinky. Veterans talk about the loss of limbs, the phantom pain of it still being there. What do you think happens to people with breasts? What do you think people who have penises? There are so many things that just don't make sense about this. And instead of talking about the low-hanging fruit, we're talking about it's their right. It's their right to choose. It's not their right to choose. It is completely against God's law. It's against the laws of nature.
Kids can't even decide what they want to do when they grow up or what college major, what they're going to major in college. I mean, Hayden has changed so many times what she wants to do. I don't have a freaking clue what she wants to do when she gets older. She's changed her mind so many times.
Yeah.
I mean, it's at the point where I won't make big purchases for her. Last year she wanted to do this acting thing, and she did a Zoom audition online, and she got accepted to a follow-up audition. I looked into it, and it turns out it's for an acting school, and the least expensive was $900, and that's the least expensive, where she got like 3 lessons or something. And she was like, I really, really want this. It's my only Christmas present. It'll be birthday. You don't have to buy me anything for like 2 years. And we sat down and had a conversation, and I said, because I talked to them.
Come get the kitty, please.
I already did. I talked to them, and I said, okay, how long can we have this second audition on hold? And they said about 6 months. And I'm like, great, that's right near your birthday, Hayden. I said, if you can save up the $450 and show that you want it, we'll pay for the other $450 and you're in, and you can absolutely take it. And she's like, yes, I want to. And I said, she goes, what can I do? And I said, I will make a list of chores and how much I'll give you for that. And she's like, okay. So I made a list of chores. Did she do one? No, she didn't.
Not at all.
Not one.
Not one.
Chore. And I even kept reminding her. And I was like, Hayden, it's 4 months away. Hayden, you haven't. Okay, I'll do it next weekend. And she didn't do one chore and didn't save up one penny for this audition. Not one. And there's a reason why I won't spend money.
Yeah, it's interesting. Debbie said, I wonder if men can still feel their twig and berries after transitioning. I've never transitioned, but I did have a penis reduction surgery. And after I lost the 6 inches and now I'm back to my comfortable 12-inch level, I can tell you I feel the missing.
It was huge.
Huge. Biggest penis ever. Bigger than China.
Oh, my goodness. You're funny.
I miss that 6 inches all the time.
I don't.
If I could get...
That's too big. Way too big.
Oh, God. Anyway, listen. I think... How many are we at, by the way?
Oh, for what?
For the number of followers in the background.
165, 310.
Oof. Moving on up to East Side. All right, folks, listen. I've showed this image a couple times. This is the last thing we're talking about. This is an image that I've shown several times on the show. And this is the stuff that was in Fairfax, Virginia, and schools that have been removed from the library, these type of books. And there's books talking about having oral sex with gardeners with 13-year-old boys. Some really crazy shit. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we challenged our schools to get this stuff removed. Brandon Michon has done a great job. There's several people who used to come onto the show, don't come on anymore because, you know, people change. But this is a fight that we have fought, and a lot of people call it banning books. I want to say clearly, when the left tells you that we are banning books, this is bullshit. First of all, go find out if you can actually get To Kill a Mockingbird in California schools. You can't. You know who banned that? Democrats. Go see if you can go ahead and get Catcher in the Rye in some California schools. You can. And we've done it too. We've banned books when it comes to not allowing certain age groups to have them, but you can buy them on Amazon. You get any book you want. There's no reason that you can't get any book that you want in the United States outside of things like the Anarchist Cookbook, right? We keep hearing that homosexuality being a transgender is all about choice. So I have two questions. If it is all about choice and only choice, and I have a lot of homosexual, gay, lesbian, transgender, not as many transgender friends, but bisexual friends. And I've asked the question, and most have, some people are like, nope, I was born this way. And then most of them say, you know what, it's a little bit of both. I always felt something was different. Can't always put my finger on it. But there was a time where I made a choice. I tried being a heterosexual. I didn't like it. Or I tried being a lesbian. I didn't like that. Or I did like that, and I like being a heterosexual, so I became bisexual. I have people I'm 40 years old, and I was gay my whole life, and now I'm straight. I've had people who are straight their whole life, and now they're gay. And ultimately what it comes down to truly is a little bit of both. Now, the whole thing, XY and an extra chromosome, and all, whatever, I don't give a shit about that. Because truly, you're influenced. And if you look at Freud and if you look at psychological teachings, you'll find out that most people have homosexual tendencies at one point in their life. A dream, they'll see a friend and they'll have that feeling, or they'll get in a certain situation. And most of, I know I've been through it. Livia, you? Liv,
Sorry.
Stop texting people. Have you been through it too? Homosexual tendencies? Yes or no? Okay.
When I was younger, absolutely.
We all have. And anyone who says they haven't, they're just either A, they didn't recognize it, or B, they're lying. And it's normal. It's part of the process. It doesn't make you a sinner. You're not going to go to hell. Stupid. And at some point, a choice was made. And some people embrace it and some people run away from it. Some people are repulsed by it. Some people love it. And that is what we have done in this society. And that's been going on since the days of Rome and Greece. Come on. This isn't anything new. Homosexuality runs rampant through royalty, incest, bisexual relationships. Anybody who's seen Caligula understands that. The Persians were that way. It's been throughout history. We don't have to appreciate it. You don't have to respect it. You don't have to say it's not a sin. I don't care about any of that. What I'm trying to tell you, and the point I'm getting to, is that if you say that there is no choice, then why do you celebrate it? Why must you gain acceptance from everybody? That's number one. Unless it is a choice, because you had nothing to do with it. If it's not a choice, then you had nothing to do with it. It's like me celebrating that I'm white. That's like people who love white pride or black pride. Why? You didn't do anything with that. You didn't earn it.
Your parents earned it. That's about it.
Yeah, but they didn't earn being white. They didn't have a choice in the matter. Nobody knocked them out. Excuse me, Mr. Embryo. Yes, sir. I'm wondering what color you'd like to be. Can I be brown? Okay. Can I be Jewish? Okay. Can I be a lesbian? No, not all three. That's a trifecta. You're not going to get anywhere in the world if you do that.
Is he brown?
Is he clean? Is he clean, Michael? Michael, check his toes. If he's clean, invite him in. So nobody asked. We didn't earn it. So that argument bothers me. We were born this way. I don't think you were. I really don't. I think there's certain things in chemical makeups in your body which predetermine if you are going to be more effeminate or possibly the way you're attracted. Of course, the DNA sequencing is so absolutely sporadic in its design that anything can happen on a long enough helix code. Of course. But the thing that bothers me most is if it is true that it is absolutely not a choice, then here's my question. Then why are you marketing to kids? Why are you creating books on sex? If they're already gay or already trans, then eventually that's going to come out anyway. Why do you need to show them books about it? Why do you need to talk to them about it? Why do you need to tell it's okay? Why do you need to go ahead and sexually transition them? Why do you have to give them chemicals? Why do you have to show them books of a kid getting a blowjob when he's 13 doing a gardener who's 35? Why do you have to have shirts at Target that celebrate kids? Because you're trying to do something. You're trying to reprogram a generation of kids. I've said this is marketing. I've said this is money. I said this is changing the old guard out with the new, and Gen Z is going to replace us older people because they're a larger demographic and have a longer buying life and shelf life. But if you absolutely cannot make somebody gay, then why are you trying to? Can't answer that question. It's something to think about. Mm-hmm. Something to think about. And I'm waiting for well, it's for acceptance. Why? Where you put your dick or vagina, why do you need acceptance? Do you know how arbitrary? That would be like me going ahead and saying, I need acceptance that I enjoy frozen yogurt. And therefore, I need everyone to wave this vanilla colored flag outside their house and go to pride events with me and accept that I like frozen yogurt and celebrate me liking frozen yogurt. And if you don't, you're a bigot. How does that make any sense? Why do I have to accept your sexual disposition in order for you to feel comfortable? Why do you have to make me feel uncomfortable in order for your comfort level to rise? Just something to think about on this wonderful Friday night.
Thoughts to ponder with Matt Spear.
Thoughts to ponder with Matt Spear. Folks, that's it for tonight. That's all I've got. Olivia, I'm going to give you your minute, and you're not going to take it again, are you? You're ready to play Diablo, aren't you?
No, I'm just.
You're not ready to play Diablo?
Well, yeah, of course I am.
What the hell's wrong with you? The forces of evil are going to take over the sanctuary.
No, I usually say all I'm going to say on the show, unless you ask me a direct question. I usually.
Would you like to have Nookie later?
Well, you already know the answer to that.
No, I don't.
Well, if you don't, then I don't know what you're doing with 12 inches, but okay.
Anything I want. All right, folks, listen.
Goodness.
I appreciate the conversation. I've had a good time with you guys tonight. Do me a favor. If you have not had a chance, stop by the Don't Unfriend Me store at thedumshow.com. Go listen to some of our older stuff. We have it there. One more time, here is the link to the Still Point music, the songs that we played. You get the Don't Unfriend Me song, and you have their new release. Absolutely free of charge. No charge in any way, shape, or form. If you haven't heard it, you guys have all heard the Don't Unfriend Me song. Pretty simple.
Do you want the truth? Are you tired of being so confused?
Yes, that's a real song. Yes, it's done by a real band. And then also Kingdom Upon the Sand, which is done by Still Point. Heck of a cool song. It's got a bunch of good stuff. You can't get them on iTunes yet. They're not available. They're available free just to Don't Unfriend Me listeners. Go and download it at the link. It's a zip file. If you don't know how to do that, ask anybody here in the Dumb Nation. Click on it and then drop it in iTunes or whatever you use, Spotify, whatever, and listen to the music. And please, remember everyone deployed. It is great day, Red Friday.
Kitty says bye.
Kitty says bye. Say goodbye. Folks, also, one
Night,
last
y'all.
thing. 22 veterans a day are committing suicide. Red Friday is important to remember the veterans overseas, but also as we go out with every single show. No, it's not the new shirt, the Try That in a Small Town shirt, which you can get at the Don't Unfriend Me store. It's actually about the veterans who risk their lives every day overseas. Good night. I will see you guys. No show tomorrow or Sunday. I'll see you Monday. I may be on kicking around, but I think we need some time off. We're going to pop smoke and we're going to go watch some TV and play Diablo. Good night, everybody. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Thanks for all your support. Good night.
Night.
I'm David Boreanaz with the Cast of SEAL team, and we have an important message for returning vets. We want you to know if you're struggling to cope.
Wait.
there's help. It's just a phone call.
Wait. We got what? Wait.
Where's the troll?
Where's the troll?
Where's the
Where's
troll?
the troll?
It?
Who's the troll in chat? Who's the troll? Who's the chat troll?
Yeah, the chat troll.
Oh, is it Rolandi? Rolandi? Or is that the E silent? Roland?
Roland.
Rolandi? Rolande? Roland?
Yep, not a troll. Sick of all these cult followers.
Oh, Colt. Okay.
Sucks.
So hold on a second. Let's see. Let's get a picture of this winning character.
Our cult,
Oh my gosh. What the hell is Recall Wadsack?
What?
Who does your graphic design? They're fantastic. Let's see. It was drawn by a 4-year-old.
What the heck is Recall?
Of course you would defend that racist. Who's a racist? Who Hold on. Wait, Roland. Wait, that's a guy's name. You're a woman. Your husband won't let you have your own account, will he? Oh, that's great. You're expressing freedom and liberty, but actually you're just a slave to your husband's desire. He doesn't trust you. What did you do? Did you sleep with somebody? Did you cheat on him? What did you do? Did you have naughty stuff and you were sending messages between you and your high school lover? Do you have 3 names? Does she have 3 names? Let me see.
Okay, I figured out what Recall Wadsack is.
Yeah.
It's Justine Wadsack, a Republican in Tucson, trying to get her recalled head on.
This person's from Arizona.
Uh-huh.
Oh, so Tucson. Oh, Tucson's. Gosh, remember Tucson?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so Roland D. Baker. But wait a second. You're a woman. Why do you have your husband's account, Roland? Like I said, does he not trust you? I am a woman, not married. Well, then why are you called Roland? Are you a transition male to female? I mean, help us out here. I know we're all cult members, but we're actually quite interested. Tell me. Give me all the juicy gossip.
The E is silent. Okay, so it's
Roland.
Roland.
It's Roland.
I've never heard of that as a female name before, but okay.
I haven't either. But she says she's a woman. Okay. And you identify as a woman or you're a woman? Hold on a second. I'm truly intrigued. She attacked the James T. Harris show. I don't care. Thanks, James. Appreciate that. She can attack my show. She's going to lose. Because all I got to do is say these simple words. Call in. You're an activist, right? You're an activist. If you're an activist, you should call in. You should be able to handle me in a heartbeat.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you don't like our cult, why are you partaking in it?
No. Help me out. There's a call the show. Right there. I just gave it to you. Phone lines are open. Oh, Justin Wadzak. Shut the F up. Of course not. It's French. I would not what? You didn't finish your sentence.
How about you spell it out?
Can you let me do this?
Yeah. I'm just
good. Are you
curious.
upset?
No, I'm curious how they say the first name. So I'm saying, spell it out like you would in a
Dude,
dictionary.
she's already done with that.
He
already said that it's Roland and the E silent. Now we're moving on. Justin Wadzak. STFU, of course not. It's French. You would not. Okay. Not know what.
Roland?
Why are you so angry? What are you so angry about? What is it about the show that upsets you? Please walk us through it. Why don't you just come on the show?
I will forego playing Diablo tonight to have a conversation.
Yeah, I just roll a wand. Roll a wand. I thought you said the E was silent. The only reason you're going to get that extension in the participles of the word is by accentuating the E. It's Roland. Where the hell are you from? Roll a wand. It's not roll.
Somebody's saying Rolande.
Rolande? Well, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, female Rolande. Okay. Sounds French.
Come on.
Yeah, someone post the link to call.
I already did.
Oh, okay.
Just so y'all know, if you unfriend me and later decide to send me another friend request, there'll be a $29.99 reconnection fee. There's the link. Come on. Can I call you Rolades? It's just easier. I'm just gonna call you Rolades. Just simple. You're giving me an indigestion. Hurry up. I mean, come on. Either make your point. Why do you think we're a cult? What makes us cult-like? If I'm not mistaken, a cult usually has a leader. Who's the leader? The second thing we would need to ostracize ourselves into obscurity. How have we done that? We're on a live show. What type of cult actually, openly exposes themselves to hundreds of people, if not tens of thousands by the end of the month, by the time many people see this?
For a cult, we're a really, really bad one.
What's our initiatives here? What are the things that we have to sacrifice from our identity in order to give to our cult leader? What things would that be? What are the things that we believe unchallenged? The things that we don't question, considering that this entire show is questioning things. Come on, Rolades, answer my question. Stop stalling. This is pathetic. No, don't ban them. Don't ban them. Why do you guys want to ban everybody?
Stop.
God, you fucking mods are Hitlers.
Yeah, unless they are calling
you guys hide posts all the time. Who cares? Unless they're saying something racist, unless they're threatening somebody's lives, I don't care. Don't ban them. What is your phone number? Why can't you read? I've given you the link 100 times right there.
Just
call my show. What's
link.
Confusing about HTTPS // call my show and the number? What's so hard about that?
We won't even put you on camera.
I love the trolls. Come on, Eurowanda, give us a call. Where? What do you mean where? Listen, okay, do me a favor. Stop watching Wheel of Fortune for a second. Stop. Turn it off. Turn off Wheel of Fortune, okay? Then I need you to look in the chat. You see where it says call my show, the link? The one that I've spammed 100 times?
I can't say. Marine just texted it. The Don't Unfriend Me show just put it in chat. I mean, it's been posted many a time.
I love the trolls. I don't want the trolls gone. I don't know people like, should I ban them? No, never. Never, ever ban the trolls. They're good for business. And this is the end of the show. We're done. She said,
I did. It's not working. Oh, who wants to test it and call in?
Who wants to show her that she's full of crap? Come on.
Hey, Kristen, give us a call.
Yeah, somebody give us a call. Come on, turn off Pat Sajak. I know Matlock's coming on.
Oh, no, he's retiring. Did you hear that?
He's not retired.
I thought he was retiring.
Holy Lord, would you stop? just, I don't think I'd say this. Just stop for a minute. All right, here's Isaac.
Oh, they're on a phone, not a computer. If you're on a phone, if you've got internet access on your phone, you can do it from the phone.
Open up your URL. Open up your web browser. Copy and paste it in.
Roland wants us to call them. Ooh.
There you go, Isaac. See, Isaac's on, everybody. There's Isaac. Phone's working. See, he's on his computer.
Hi, Isaac.
Isaac, what's going on, Santa?
Santa Claus.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes,
always.
we can.
I can hear you. What do you think of your Rwanda?
Chicken.
You're what? You're close to father time. You're 776 years old. So what do you think? You think she's full of crap?
It did not open up. Yes.
No, I just came on to advertise my new song for Christmas.
Oh.
Oh shit.
Grandma
What is it?
got run over by a reindeer.
There we go.
Ho, 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 ho.
Look, I got two people on. Not only one, I've got two.
Who else is on?
This is Maureen.
Oh, hey, Maureen.
See, I mean, we can get the whole.
We got the whole Colt in here.
We've got the whole Colt in my hands. We've got the whole Colt in my hands.
I'm not chicken, anything but. Okay, well, you're not calling in, so.
Come on, listen.
What are you, yella?
What are you, yella? Yeah, yelly Bella. Come on, stop making excuses. All right, Isaac, you gotta stop singing. Isaac, hold on. Big Al's gay boat ride's calling in. All right, I gotta let you guys go. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Right,
thanks for calling.
Maureen, it's good to see you. Love you. You're the best. I think we got some. Al, big dude, what's up, Al? What do you want to talk about?
It is not working.
Al, can you hear me? Ooh, your audio. Nope, Al's gone. Okay, hold on. Let me get Maureen back in here. Hold on. Maureen, hold on. Okay, Maureen, what are you up to? What's going on? Shit, we lost Maureen. We have Big Al. Let's see if Big Al wants to talk.
All right, give me the website again. Oh my gosh.
How many times do we have to do this?
Go into her thread and post it.
Al, what do you want to talk about, buddy? How are you?
Doing all right. How about you?
I'm good. Is your name actually Al? Because you look familiar. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So what's your name, man? What's your first name? Is it Al? I can't hear him. Give me a call right back, buddy. Give me a call back. All right, so I'm waiting. Everybody's calling in but you, Rwanda. Come on. Al, give me a call back, buddy. All right, so I'm waiting on you. You got another 30 seconds or I'm going to pop smoke. And then I'm going to tell you this.
We got frozen yogurt waiting for us.
Maybe seriously. All right, we got Al back. All right. Al, can you hear me? Al, can you hear me? Test.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right, man. Yes, I can now. What do you want to talk about?
Well, those trolls are full of shit.
Well, I think that pretty much it's working okay now, right? We can hear each other. How long have you been watching the show?
Oh, shoot, about 2.5 years.
What the hell's what's your screen name? It's not Al. What is it?
It's Glenn Allen Clark.
Oh, shit. I told you look familiar. I knew you looked familiar. I'm like, God damn, that looks like Glenn. Son of a bitch. You're such a dick. You're such a dick. You're lucky I love you, buddy.
Look at him laughing.
What a jerk. Oh, my God, he looks familiar. Hold on. Oh, your Wanda's on. Hold on. Really? Hey, Glenn, I got to go. You got to watch this. Watch this. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right. See you, man.
All right, Bubba. Good to see you. All right, we've got. All right, here you are. Now you got to show your face, right? Because you're a lovely looking lady. Come on. All right. Hi. How are you?
Hi.
Now
it's Roland.
Pronounce your Roland.
Roland. Okay.
Roland. All right. Tell us why. First of all, good to have you on. It takes a lot of courage to call in. Some people don't do that, and that means a lot to me. So immediately my demeanor changes.
I am not a coward. I've never been a coward. Far from being a coward.
Mad respect.
I don't agree with what you folks have had to say. I don't agree with what you had to say. I'm a 38-year public school teacher, and I have not seen any of the books to which you're referring.
We're going to get to that. Hold on a second. Can we at least have an amicable moment before we tear each other apart? Well, it's going to be up to you because I'm trying to do that and you're not. So let's be amicable, right?
Okay.
That's fair. Okay. So what I was going to say to you is it takes a lot of courage to call in. A lot of people won't, and that immediately changes the demeanor because a lot of people can hide behind a keyboard. And the fact that you're calling, I think that's great. What do you said we were in a cult? What does that mean?
The way you folks talk, this is the first time I've even ever seen this show. It just popped up on my Facebook. I don't even know what it is. So I don't know who you are, and I don't know who the lady next to you is. I don't know where you guys come from. I don't know what your background is.
Would you like to know, and then you can tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, but sure.
Okay.
Tell me about the two of you, because I don't know who you are.
My name's Matthew. I'm a retired United States Naval Intelligence Specialist. I worked for various teams in the United States Navy. I've been an executive vice president for multiple Fortune 15 companies. Decided to major in criminal justice and political science. I've worked for various government institutions as well. Worked on a few political campaigns, had political ambitions myself. Started a podcast about 2.5 years ago. It's become fairly successful. If you want to know what my political disposition is and ideologies, I am a conservative first. Socially, I am probably liberal. I would say more than not. I don't believe in January 6th and the people who participated. I don't believe the election was stolen, and I don't think that Donald Trump's a messiah. And I say that very often on a lot of occasions. The person to my right, who has her own voice, will go ahead and tell you about her. Go ahead, Liv.
I am Matt's wife, and I'm sitting about 3 feet away from him.
See, we can touch. Watch this.
We're sharing the same office.
We're sharing.
So, my name's Olivia, and I have been a stay-at-home mom for a very, very long time to our 2 beautiful children. Hayden is 13 and Ethan is 10. And my cat sits on my lap half the time on the show. I don't know if you saw her, but just pretty laid back.
Yeah, pretty easy.
That's
Okay.
it.
We live in Virginia. All right, so tell us about you.
I'm a 71-year-old retired public school teacher. I taught for 38 years. The last 11 of my 38 years, I was a special education teacher. I've been very active in politics from the age of 17. First time I was involved in politics was at 17. I protested against the Vietnam War, and I've been doing that most of my life. I have 3 children, 9 grandchildren, 1 great-granddaughter.
Congratulations.
I've lived
Big family.
I've lived in Tucson since 1987. I've been very involved in the politics of what goes on here in Tucson. I am the one who wrote the recall against Justine Watsack, because you saw the picture when you looked on my Facebook.
Yeah, I did.
And there's quite a few reasons why we're doing that recall. And the reason I was triggered when I came upon your live, I was doing the dishes. So I had my earbud in and I had the phone away from me. So I wasn't actually looking at you guys. You started talking about penises being cut off. Mm-hmm. And I want to know the number. Do you know? Because I know here in the state of Arizona, what's the number of adults who have had their, because we can't, here in Arizona, there are no children under the age of 21 who have ever had their penises cut off. So how many adults do you know in the United States of America that has actually occurred, that actual operation has occurred, the number?
That have had sexual transformative surgeries?
Correct.
Now, does it have to be in the United States, or is it they can also no, hold on a second. How are you tracking the information if it was done overseas or done out of country?
I have not tracked the ones. Well, I know that originally in 1954, the first surgery was done in Sweden, but that was 1954. And I know that the majority of those that were done, the percentage was 0.0005. That's the percentage of how many, if we did it worldwide, that's the percentage of people who have actually had that procedure done. As far as breasts being removed, I know my statistics. I'm not cool.
I never said you were. I never implied you were.
Well, when you said true, okay. Well, the fact that you even said correct, like I would tell you something that isn't true. I take offense to that.
You don't need to be so combative. I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. I'm simply asking a qualifying question. Did you want statistics from worldwide or people leaving the United States, because that's not tracked?
Well, you can actually, yes, you can track it. The way that you can track it is
no, you can't. You actually cannot unless it's publicly disclosed. Excuse me. Unless it's publicly disclosed by the person, that information cannot be collected by the United States government. In fact, anything that happens outside the United States without a background check warrant or any type of permissible evidence can be collected without the permission of a U.S. citizen. So if it is, it's being collected illegally.
Well, so then yes, let me specify then what it is that I'm saying. The information that I have found, the information that I've seen, are from those individuals who are from the United States who have voluntarily given their information as to where it is that they have had their surgery. And you're still at a very, 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 very very tiny percentage.
Yeah,
I
and
think
okay,
this
so now
is
that you've
entirely being blown
shared
up.
your information, I'd like to go ahead and retort. I don't care. I don't care what an adult does with their body. It's their personal business, and I support all transgender people because I believe trans rights are human rights. Every single person deserves the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and I don't give a shit. What I care about is that you guys, and some of you, not you, I don't think you're that type of person, are going after children. And I know this because although you have, really? Okay, so why are you shaking your head no when you have, I listened to everything you had to say. Have you heard of Fairfax, Virginia? Excuse me, have you heard of Fairfax, Virginia? Have you been on the Loudoun County Board of Public Schools like I have? Have you interviewed parents? Have you interviewed state legislature? Have you taken and actually been involved in affidavits that actually swear to the testimony that certain curriculum is being brought into these schools, including books that talk about pornographic material, fellatio on adults, 13-year-old boys filleting and having anal sex with men, being raped? Do you know that these books exist? Would you like me to show you a few pictures?
Those type of pornographic books have already existed,
No, they're right here.
from time memoriam. I see these types of books have existed from time memoriam. You can go all the way back to the very beginning of printing when those types of books have been published.
So what I take offense make sure I understand your statement. What you're saying is the books that I just showed you in the photographs talking about pedophilia, fellatio, and instruction on how to have anal intercourse, fisting techniques that children can have on each other. Those books have been in the public libraries for consumption for 6-year-olds, 10-year. Well, then why did you just say they were?
That's
what
exactly
I said
is
that
that is not exactly what I said. You're taking my words away. I said
you told me they've been available.
Time memoriam, those types of books have been printed since printing was allowed.
I don't care.
Since printing first started. That's got nothing to do with what's in the public
freedom
library.
Of speech. It's in freedom of speech. I don't care. Why are you mixing what adults and printing presses can do? I am talking about underage children, under the age of 18, consuming this material. You're talking about something else. A consenting adult, my wife and I watch porn all the time. I don't give a shit. I am talking about children, and you're talking about a printing press. I don't care what printing presses do. They have a right.
Where those books are, where the children have seen those books.
Yes.
That's right, yes.
They are in Loudoun County schools, high schools, middle schools, and
elementary.
They're also in Texas. You're absolutely wrong. You have no, ma'am, you know what? You can sit here and say, I will show you the evidence. You're absolutely wrong. It's in Fairfax schools.
It's in Loudoun County schools.
I didn't say I was wrong. I asked a question. I can't be right or wrong. I asked a question.
What's your question?
You personally have seen those books, not pages that were right there.
Yes.
You have been in that classroom from where those books came
No,
from.
it's not in the classroom. I have actually been involved in the Loudoun County School Board and Fairfax, Virginia School Board's testimony. I have had 2 congressional seats interviewed on this show with Brandon Michon, who spoke at one. You can actually Google him and find out. Who has actually had affidavits and subpoenas brought to the court, read these books aloud on a public access forum where parents and children could hear, and they were censured and told to be quiet because it was too profane for kids to hear, but it's not too profane for kids to have access. Now, I'm not saying it's 6-year-olds and 9-year-olds that have access to these books. These are in restricted sections, and they usually start at the age of 12 to 14 years old. It doesn't matter. It's not with parents' consent. Both school boards have been sued, and the entire superintendent on down have been removed, and criminal charges are being brought up because they were scoping on Facebook accounts, stealing information through contacts at the FBI to label these people domestic terrorists, spying on their accounts and getting lists and doxing them through Democratic websites through Facebook. All of this I can show you. I will bring the affidavits to you. I will do whatever you want, but if we're not going to be able to believe each other, you and I are not going to have a conversation that's going to be worth a damn.
Tell me the name of the gentleman with whom you said
Brandon Michon.
Brandon
M-I-C-H-O-N.
M-I-C-H-O-N.
He is the gentleman that is actually known as the. He is the actually he's Loudoun County, and he's the angry dad. You'll find out his argument. There's also something you can find out from Fairfax. I don't have the name off the top of my head, where a daughter went to a school and was sexually assaulted by
Loudoun County.
That was Loudoun County. Was
Yes.
sexually assaulted by a transsexual, identified as a transsexual, raped a girl in a bathroom, was then removed from the school, not suspended, no punitive damages, was moved to another school, and then he accosted and raped a girl again, a different girl, at another location. Her father made a testimony in Loudoun County Public School Board meeting, was physically restrained and beaten by the police on camera. You can find that one too. If you would like, we can talk about Texas, and I can also talk about California, since I have friends and have lived in both states and can tell you some of the things that they are teaching in those schools.
And the superintendent, the old superintendent from Loudoun County, as well as the public information officer, are being indicted on charges right now. And I think the superintendent is currently in court. Reason why is the boy who raped the girl in the bathroom, they put it under the rug. They hushed it. They did not notify the parents. They didn't notify the parents of the new school that they sent this boy to, and he did it again. And then they lied about it repeatedly.
Now we understand that this is not an epidemic that's happening all over the place. As you know, most disinformation, as someone who protested the Vietnam War, and some of the things that were said about those movements were absolute bullshit. Okay, not all of you spit on Vietnam soldiers. Not all of you called them baby killers. Some of you were asking for things that were needed, which was to justify why we were allowing the murder of Vietnamese people, Cambodians, and people in Laos. I understand that, but this is where it starts. And it starts with crossing the line and taking away parents' rights. I hope you would agree, as someone who has so much family, and that you believe that you and your family know what's best for your children. I hope you believe that. And I also understand communal raising of children. But sex, race, discrimination, theological beliefs, these are inherently a parent's responsibility, not a teacher's. And I bet, as a teacher, you never cross that line. If you did, let me know.
Where I have some very serious problems with what is going on with our educational system is that this has been blown way out of proportion. You gave me 2 cases. I know of none in the state of Arizona. I know parents who are complaining that this is going on. None of it has been proven. What I'm having problems with is that these cases, if in fact what you're telling me is the truth, they are abhorrent cases. As a teacher of 38 years,
let me ask you a question. Why would I lie? Hold on. What benefit do I have to lie? This will be the first time.
I don't know what benefit any of these people have to lie, who are lying about many of the things that are going on. For example, as I was starting to say, as a teacher, I am quite fearful of where we are headed in this country as to what is going on in Florida, what they are keeping teachers from doing. Had I ever been told, I used to go to my school board every year to let them know this is the curriculum of which I'm going to be teaching. These are the books that I'm going to be having. I didn't ask permission. Never asked permission. I said, this is what I'm going to be teaching. It was never taken out of my classroom ever. And the history that is being taken away now, the fact that we're not allowed, that slavery, they learned good, I want to make sure I have the words correctly. They had good learning techniques as slaves.
That's not what it said.
Well,
so you're paraphrasing. You're getting your news from
I am paraphrasing.
Yeah, you know what? I've got it right here, lady. Lady, here's the thing. When you do what I do for a living, you better come bring the receipts. This is what it says. Examine the various duties and trades performed by slaves, e.g. agriculture, work, painting, carpentry, tailoring, domestic service, blacksmithing, and transportation. Clarification. Instruction includes how slaves develop skills which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit after post hoc slavery in the 14th Amendment. You have to understand skills were learned. God. You don't believe skills were learned. You don't believe any skill.
You don't ever bring anything about slavery as a skill that was learned.
I didn't say it was. I didn't say slavery. You can't listen to me. Listen to me. You're overreacting to a point of nonsensical disbelief. No. I never said slavery was okay. So let me ask you a question. Then what you're telling me is that every single African American who came here and learned English, that learned any type of trade, did not benefit them once they were free. Is that what you're saying? Is that
I mean,
what
after
you're
they were
saying?
stolen, from their country,
by
and
Africans, yes, in Africa, all over the world, by Africans, by black men, yes. Black men sold other black men into slavery. There were also white slaves too, and I don't see you asking for reparations for them. What about the Irish? What about the Irish? What about the Chinese?
What about the Irish?
Well, the Irish were over here. They were actually slaves. They built the railroads. What about the Chinese? Do we go ahead and give reparations to them?
It was the Chinese who built. It was the I would say the Chinese.
You're telling me the Irish, and you're telling me that my family and my bloodline and Irish weren't taken from Ireland and used for slave labor with the Chinese and African Americans. You're telling me that.
The Irish were not taken from Ireland. Came. No one came and stole children or adults from Ireland. They got on the boat and they were forced, once they got here, to pay their fee for their boat, right, which was still wrong.
That was trafficking. Okay, well, thanks for saying it was wrong. Thanks for saying it was wrong. Thanks for saying it was wrong. Here's the problem.
All of it was wrong. All the colonization was wrong. And it continues.
Who's condoning slavery? I don't understand why you're saying people are condoning slavery. They're making a comparison contrast of telling the story of slavery in America from the transition to slavery to where we are today. So what you're trying to say is that we went ahead and we had the 14th Amendment, slavery ended, and then all of a sudden we're going to go ahead and jump to 2023. Do you not want to discuss civil rights? Do you not want to discuss the Buffalo Soldiers? Do you want to not talk about the Fighting 54th?
Why did they remove? Then why are they removing Rosa Parks? Why are they removing what happened in 1955 with Martin Luther King? Why are they removing his speeches?
Show me the facts. Show me the facts. Show me doctrine that's being. Hold on.
I don't have anything to show you because I don't know how to get
unfortunately, I do. I've got it because I come prepared. I come with the receipts. You're on my show. You better come with them. You don't get to just say something without proof.
I told you. I came upon this. Your thing popped up on my Facebook along with some. I didn't even go to it. It
everything I'm telling you is right here. Everything I'm telling you is right here. If it's here,
everything
it can be there for you.
I'm telling you is also right here. You still think it's okay to teach that they learned skills in as slaves?
No. What I'm talking about is that it's not what I said. That's not what I said. What I said is that it's not like they did not learn certain trades and skill sets that they practically applied after they were free. How can you say that they didn't? You're telling me you're telling me when we look at the Persians, or we look at the Moors and the Saxons, and if those people were forced to do trades, whether it be blacksmithing or whether it be farming or any type of serf type labor, that when they were free or went back to their homeland, that they did not practically apply these things and these teachings, it doesn't mean that it was good. It doesn't mean that it was an ancillary benefit. It means it was something that just happened by osmosis and a horrible fucking situation. I'm with you. But let's stop. Can we stop pretending that African Americans aren't capable of taking bad situations and turning it into something good? They have been oppressed for how many years? The Jews went through the same thing. Japanese went through it in internment camps. By the way, put in by liberals. Ku Klux Klan created by Democrats. You want to talk about that? You want to talk about the 13 states? You want to talk about Dixie Democrats? There was no party switch.
I'm so tired of hearing about the Southern Democrats.
Tell me what.
All of us are compared to the Southern Democrats.
Then you should have found them abhorrent. You should have absolutely separated their party from yours. You didn't. You sit here and tell me you can't.
Left us. Thank goodness they left us. They left us as soon as LBJ signed the 1964 Civil Rights Movement. That's when those
Is that
Southern
when he created the Great
Democrats
Society?
left us.
And is that when he said we're going to go ahead and give those N-words a taste, and we're going to go ahead and get them addicted to the government? And then we're going to go ahead and make those N-words vote Democrat for the rest of their life? Is that the LBJ you're talking about? Is that the LBJ that was complicit in the assassination of John F. Kennedy? Is that the LBJ that was complicit in the assassination of John F. Kennedy with Alan Dulles from the CIA? Is this the person that you're going to tell me is the great white hope for black people in America? Lady, I'm telling you, you've got a lot to learn. You're a teacher. Are you fucking kidding me?
Are you fucking kidding me?
I am
that you're sitting here
disappointed
telling
in the
me
level
that you
of
think
your
LBJ
lack of
killed
education
John
of history.
Kennedy.
I'm
I've
saying
been
he was
educated.
complicit.
I know what
Who
you're
signed the
Listen,
articles to
remember
go
when
into
I said
Vietnam?
cult? When I said cult, here's the reason why I said cult. This is the reason
What
I said
cult?
cult.
Disprove
That's
anything I've
going
said.
down a
Disprove
route.
anything
Prove
I've
it's right.
said.
Prove it's true. Prove it's true.
Certainly,
Prove to me it's
I
true.
will. Would you
Just
like me
because you
to?
name some people.
Have you
Just
read the
because you name
14,000
somebody.
pages
Just
that were
because you
most
name
recently
LBJ.
released by Joseph R. Biden on the
Whoa.
CIA and Alan Dulles? Did you release them? Have you read them?
One more time.
Have
Say
you
that again. I'm
read
sorry.
have you read the 14,000 pages that were just released about the John F. Kennedy assassination and Alan Dulles complicit and his involvement in the John F. Kennedy assassination in the CIA?
I have not read those. I've been a little preoccupied. No, I have not read those.
You should, because if you're going to tell me that LBJ was not absolutely complicit with the splintering of the CIA from Robert and John Kennedy and was not killed by the United States government, who do you think did that? I'm bringing it up because you're ignoring things in the history that need to be taught. You said you went against the Vietnam War. How can you possibly think that John F. Kennedy being assassinated was one of the most tragic and horrific things that happened in this history of our country?
It was. I was alive for that. I was 13 years old when that happened. I remember it very clearly.
And it was the Ku Klux Klan. It was the Chicago mob. It was what? Khrushchev. It was Andropov. You and I both know that there is a lot about this government that's not right. And if you're going to sit here out of one side of your mouth and talk about that they are oppressing black people and that they have put them into slavery and this government's responsible, then why is it so hard for you to believe that they are also dividing us today? I'm not your enemy. I'm not in a fucking cult.
Yes, absolutely. That is, continues to be, and was Trump's whole decision making of making sure that he breaks us in half so that we are fighting with each other.
You're going to blame division in this country on Donald Trump? You're telling me this country wasn't horribly divided long before Donald Trump? You're telling me that it wasn't divided under Barack Obama?
As we are today. We were
How
not
can you
as
say
divided
that?
as we are today. And oh my gosh, you guys always bring up Obama. That he started
I'm bringing up, wait a second, because he's the most recent president before Donald Trump. We're talking about the hierarchy of presidents. I hate what we did to him. I have slammed the 2014 religious zealot Tea Party, Michelle Bachmann and Paul fucking Ryan. They're all nuts. We were never in danger of Sharia. Hold on.
You have to go all the way back to Reagan. If you're going to do that, you have to go all the way back to Reagan. And what Reagan did in Central America, and what Reagan did when he... Yeah, we can go back to Reagan when he was a governor. Let's go all the way back to that if you want to go back to history. I remember that history as well.
Why are you
I remember
so
that.
afraid?
I was alive.
Why do you only listen when I espouse things against my own party, but every time I bring up yours, you immediately get defensive and start blocking the conversation? Isn't that interesting?
I didn't block your conversation.
Every time I'm trying to say anything about Democrats, you won't shut up.
Killed John Kennedy. I don't believe that.
Okay, I'm sorry you don't. And what about his quote about what I said about black people and the Great Society?
I know he used the N-word. I absolutely know that. We all knew that. That has been a known entity for a very, very long time. The reason President Kennedy picked LBJ is because he needed the South to win.
He needed
That's
Texas.
why he picked LBJ.
He needed Texas. He needed Texas.
He needed the South.
He needed Texas. He didn't need the South. He needed Texas. Do you want to talk about the electoral count on that? Ma'am, let me explain to you. You may let the tattoos and the hat and the T-shirt fool you, but one thing I never do is underestimate someone I'm discussing things with, ever. I think you're grossly underestimating my knowledge of these things. I really do.
I didn't.
And I would appreciate if you would reset your expectations.
It doesn't mean, just because what you have read doesn't make it therefore the absolute source.
You know what? Want to know how I know? Let me see. My uncle, Randall Raymond, you can look him up and Google him. He was one of the two people who were assigned in the 2033 original release of Jackie O's redactions. These were by John Ruby. Jack Ruby, where they wanted to go ahead and suppress information from Jackie O so she wouldn't go through a trial, which is what Jack Ruby said of why he shot Oswald in the Dallas PD through FAIR. Here's the problem with all of that. And here's the problem that I have with this, is that you're telling me that LBJ was not a racist. You're telling me that LBJ was... Well, then explain to me why you think it's so difficult that they would not kill John Kennedy for his stance on civil rights and his refusal to go into Vietnam. Why wouldn't they? Do you understand that? Do you know how many billions of dollars the Vietnam War profited for the United States of America? General Dynamics,
Why do you think at 17 I was on the streets? Why do you think at 17 I was a junior in high school and I went in front of the Marine Corps recruitment center in Buffalo, New York, with a group of other people. We took a chain link fence around our waist and took a padlock so that they could not open up the Marine Corps. Absolutely, I knew. At 17, I knew what what was going on with this country.
Okay. Well,
yes.
well I'm not going to sit here and tell you
that. And the same with the Iraq War. And the same with what happened in Central America. It goes on and on and on.
You should not talk about what you do not know. You're not going to sit here and talk about the Iraq.
You do not know about Iran-Contra. You don't think
easy.
I know all about Iraq. So you defend the Iraq War.
How many times have you been south of the 32nd parallel?
Doesn't matter that I've been there or not been there.
And one of them is experiential. You just challenged me. You just challenged me that I wasn't alive during Kennedy and said that I don't know as much as I do because I've read books. Well, guess what? You weren't over in Iraq and you don't know shit about it. So until you why don't you take? Why don't you take? Why don't you?
We should have. If we were going to go anywhere, we should have gone to Afghanistan, never Iraq. We should have never bombed Iraq.
Why would we go into Afghanistan? When are you talking about? Are you talking about OIF? Are you talking about OEF? Are you talking about SHIELD? Or are you talking about Storm? Which engagement are you talking about?
All of them. The first Bush.
So you don't think 330,000 Kurds being gassed and destroyed by? Wait a second. You don't think 300,000 Kurds in a country that was neighboring in Kuwait that we had treaties with in Saudi Arabia, and the Shiites and the Sunnis are having open war in Iraq, and he's assassinating and killing people and gassing people? You don't think that was something that was needed to stop?
I don't think it was something we needed to stop. No, I don't think we should have been.
So you believe that the United States of America should have allowed Iran and Russia to come in and take the Middle East, destroy Israel, and essentially become the biggest superpower in the world? That's what you believe? Because that's what would have happened. Ma'am, let me tell you something that I did.
You don't know that. You actually don't know.
Well, yes, I do, ma'am, because the United States government trained me to do so, and I've written many of briefs, and I've written strike packages on exactly what Iran and Russia would do, considering that was my AOR for both countries. So I think I do know. What are your qualifications?
And you stand by Iraq.
I stand by SHIELD and Storm.
Iraq. You stand by us on January 10th
SHIELD and Storm most assuredly. SHIELD and Storm most assuredly.
I remember very clearly that day that we bombed in 1991. That was the first Bush. The second Bush was March of
we're not talking about second Bush.
2003.
We're talking about first Bush. Let's talk about first Bush, because my opinion on OIF and OEF are completely different. You want to talk about SHIELD and Storm, I will answer any of those things that you want. You want to talk about 2001 posthumously, and you want to talk about 9/11, you want to talk about Afghanistan, you want to talk about Iraq, that's a completely different conversation. But you're not going to sit here and tell me that 300,000 people who were gassed and murdered by a sadistic fucker, and you would have had another Hitler 2.0 in the Middle East, did not deserve to be completely annihilated, because I will disagree with you forever on that.
Who put Saddam in power?
We did. We also did it in Iran. We also did it in Greece, and we also did it in Syria. We did it in Bosnia Herzegovina, and we're doing it in Ukraine. Are you a big fan of Ukraine? Are you a Zelensky fan?
I do believe that we
need support the war in Ukraine.
That's the first war that I've ever supported.
You're so full of shit. You are so ideologically entrenched. The only reason you do it is because it's a democratically funded and pushed war, and so was Vietnam, and you didn't support that. Why do you support? Then tell me why you support the Ukraine war.
I support the Ukraine war because Russia had no right to invade Ukraine.
Iraq had no right to invade Kuwait. Iraq had no right to invade Kuwait.
That is a fact.
Well, then why don't you support Iraq?
I never said to you, Iraq did.
You said you're against the Iraq war. You just said you're against the Iraq war.
You don't have to yell at me. I'm right here.
I'm not yelling at you. I'm trying to talk over you because you won't listen. You just said you were against the Iraq war.
There's a difference between not listening and not agreeing. There's a big difference.
Well, wait a second. I'm only using your own logic against you. You said you don't support Iraq because it's not our business. He invaded Kuwait. Then he went ahead and launched Scuds into 3 different countries surrounding, including Saudi Arabia and Israel. Then you go ahead and tell me that you support the Ukraine war because it is our business, because he was invaded by Putin. Now, I don't give a shit about Putin. I honestly dislike anybody from the Politburo or KGB. I worked against him for years. I despise Russia. But you know what else I despise? I despise that people who are hypocrites and tell me that they're anti-war, but the only time that they're not is when it's the current Democrat talking points that freedom of democracy is at stake because of Ukraine. Give me a break.
Wait, give me a break. 1967 was when I was arrested, and if my memory serves me, that was under a Democratic president. That would have been LBJ when I was first arrested for the Vietnam War, 1967. Yeah. That's the year that I was arrested. That was under a Democratic president. So don't give me some bullshit that I've only been against it when it's been a Republican. It has been of late mostly Republican presidents.
Whoa. Now you're not. That's not true.
No,
that's
not true. Until Biden.
Just because Obama didn't declare war, we were in 16 proxy wars under Obama.
Yes,
16. He killed 286 Americans. He killed 286 American civilians who were also sympathizers of Al Qaeda and ISIS, which I'm fine with that. But if you want to suspend the Constitution just because you're not happy, that's up to you, lady. You're a Democrat. You're the one who's supposed to support liberal rights.
Actually, I'm a Democratic socialist. Get it right.
Oh, shit. That explains a lot. There's no such thing. So you're a socialist.
Pretty much.
Name a socialist country that's ever had a form of democracy and a voting system or has capitalism as their primary source of economic basis. Go. I'll wait.
Why is capitalism the best way to run an economy?
It actually leaves 50% of the people behind, unfortunately, and all boats rise in high tide. But it's better than socialism, where the top 3% make everything and the 97% have to starve. What are you going to do? Talk about Venezuela? Talk about Laos? They're not. No, lady. They've told you to. You're full of shit. They said they're not socialist. They have social programs, and they are a capitalistic country. Sweden and Finland, they have actually said that. Listen to their presidents, and that is what they've said. And they said, we do not like to be compared with socialism. Wrong. Do it again. Try somewhere else.
What do you mean wrong? Do it again.
You're wrong. The leaders of their own country have denounced socialism. The leaders of their own countries denounce socialism. You think socialism is a social program. It's a redistribution of wealth, not a social program. Social Security is important.
Of wealth. Absolutely. I agree with you.
It doesn't work. You can't tax people into prosperity. Please name one country that has taxed itself into prosperity. I'll wait. Go.
I just named Finland, Denmark, Norway. Yes.
Nope. No, they're not. They're not socialist. They're not socialist. They have social programs, completely different.
It's not
socialism.
Different.
You're telling me socialism and social programs are the same thing. They are different. The fire department's not socialism. The military is. It's an exchange. It is an exchange of labor, is what it is. That's capitalism in itself. You have programs that you pay into. Of course you do, but that's your money, Social Security. But then what happens is that certain people like LBJ and other presidents borrow against it and sell bonds against it and then bankrupt it. So our taxes are actually funding Social Security because it's been a deficit ever since, along with the U.S. Postal Service. But I'm sure you don't want to talk about that because those are examples of socialism that have failed. Are we done? Because you know what?
Pretty much. Because
I think
you're not going to change me and I'm not going to change you.
You can change me. Just say something that's true.
I'm not a shower. Well, you can change me. Say something that is true.
I will.
Try to change me.
You believe in war when it's convenient for you.
No, I don't believe in war when it's convenient for me. I have many friends. Just to let you know, I will let you know. Most of my friends have argued with me over and over and over again about Ukraine. I am the only one of the progressive friends that I've had for many, many years who does believe we should be in Ukraine. My progressive friends are
all right,
with you, folks.
Fair enough. You're right. You're right. Folks. Tempers got a little hot. Let me ask you a question, and I'm going to shut up and listen. Why do you think we should be in Ukraine?
I told you, because Ukraine was an independent country as of 1992. Putin, so this is something about Obama that really did upset me. When Putin came in and took over, I'm sorry, I can't think of it.
It's okay, the Donbass region?
The peninsula. The peninsula. The peninsula.
Gosh, it's
Crimea.
Crimea. Crimea. Yes, ma'am.
Crimea. When they took, and that was 2006. 2006, if I remember correctly, wasn't it?
Yes, beginning
No,
at, yes,
2004,
2006. Yeah.
It was 2006. That's when we should have, together with the rest of Europe. That's why I'm glad that the rest of Europe is doing this. I'm glad that we, not just the United States, is involved in this. That's when we, as a, you probably don't believe in NATO either, do you?
Why wouldn't I believe in NATO?
Do you believe it? I don't know.
Why
I'm
would
just
you make that
asking.
assumption?
Do you believe? Because many conservatives don't. There are many conservatives who do not believe in NATO.
I'm not a conservative. I'm an American.
You said you were. That's what you called yourself.
Wait a second. That's not who I am. That's not who I am. Are you a socialist? That's who you are at your core? I'm a constitutionalist. I'm an American. I believe that before anything. Just because I have conservative principles, that's the lowest common denominator. There's a lot more about me and you than just our political ideology. But anyway, I do believe in NATO. I believe it was absolutely necessary at one point, especially with the blitzkriegs that happened in France. And it would have been great if we would have had a standing army in Europe to stop that, because that's ultimately our distraction in the north of England. Took away our focus from the south of France and allowed the Nazis to go ahead and storm in 72 hours and take over Europe. Yeah, NATO is a good thing. And when we looked at Russia's overall mechanized infantry, hold on, I'm not done. You asked me a question. Let me answer it. The mechanized infantry of Russia was absolutely 4 times the size of Germany. They were our focus after we went ahead and started recognizing peace treaties between Nagasaki and Hiroshima. We dropped the bomb and Russia started taking northern Japan. And what did MacArthur and Patton say? Let's go in and let's go to war with Russia and take them over. I understand why NATO is necessary. What I don't understand is why we have to pay for it all. And you just told me you don't like nation building. You just told me you don't like the U.S. government meddling. Well, then why are we paying for everyone else's country's military?
We're not paying for everyone else's military.
We are. We're paying for Sweden. We're paying for Finland. We're paying for Norway. We're paying for Germany. We're paying for Japan. We're paying for most countries in Africa. What the hell are you talking about? We give Israel how much money a year? Lady, we are in 32 different countries in the military, and you're telling me that we don't provide most of the country their protection? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm confused.
No, you're not.
Yes, I believe in NATO.
You're absolutely not confused. No, you're not. Absolutely not confused. That's your little ploy for your friends to hear. Anyway,
do I believe in NATO? Yes, I believe in NATO. Tell me why you believe in why we should support Ukraine. You still haven't given me a reason. You've told me about Crimea. Tell me about Zelensky and Putin.
We as NATO, not we as the United States, need to defend Ukraine. I absolutely do believe that Putin will go into the next. I think if he were to win Ukraine, he'll go to Poland next.
Why? What makes you think that?
Because that's his game plan is to take over back the USSR as it once was when he was still a KGB agent. That's what he wants. He wants it back to what it was.
They didn't have Poland when he was a KGB agent.
Poland was under the auspices of the USSR. Yes, it was.
When he was KGB,
in 1948,
Putin was alive in
Poland
1948.
was under the auspices. I don't know what year he was alive. I'm telling you that Poland was once part of the USSR.
Yes, I didn't deny that. What you're saying is he wants to go back to the great land of Russia, which was Prussia, which was ultimately the Bolsheviks, right? So you're talking predating 1948. You're talking 1908 and 1914.
No, I'm not. I'm talking 1948 is when NATO first began. That is the year that NATO began.
Okay.
Look it up.
Okay. All right, great. You still haven't told me why we should be in Ukraine. You still haven't told me why we should be in Ukraine. No, you told me NATO should go ahead and support for a non-NATO country. Why is NATO getting involved in a non-NATO country?
Because I said this already. Because we can see where Putin is headed. If he takes over Ukraine, he is going to continue to go west. That's what he's going to continue to do, is continue to go west. All the countries right there.
Why do you think that? Because you just said Poland was part of Russia in 1948, which it wasn't. But that's okay. You can go ahead and say that anyway. Please explain to me why you
USSR. Is it better to say USSR? Is that what I need to say?
No, it's not. In fact, it doesn't help at all. But why do you still haven't told me a reason? You told me NATO should be involved and the United States should be involved, but you explicitly said we should not be involved in Iraq and Vietnam and other countries. What makes Ukraine different? Because there's been other world leaders. I mean, they wanted to take over Vietnam. They wanted to do Cambodia, they wanted to do Laos and bring communism in from China and Russia, which ultimately would have led to overtaking Japan and Australia. We would have lost the entire Sea of Japan and our entire through pair from the Southeast Orient. It would have crippled the United States military to travel around the world. It would have been detrimental to the United States. Why didn't you support that? Why didn't you support Vietnam then?
Is that what really happened? That is not at all what happened.
That's what would have happened.
Vietnam kept Vietnam the way it's supposed to be. They kept their entire country. They got North and South Vietnam. We backed out because we were losing. We had already lost.
We didn't lose. We weren't losing. We lost. We lost. We didn't. We weren't losing. We lost. Korea was a tie. Listen to me. World War II was a win. Korea was a tie. Vietnam was a loss.
Absolutely. And I guess where do you stand on Iraq?
Where do I told you where I stand with Iraq. We absolutely have Iraq one should win.
Was that a win or a lose? A loss? Was that a win or a loss?
Iraq well, it wound up being a horrible loss because our convictions were weak.
Thank you.
Our convictions were weak. It wasn't from an economic standpoint, but it certainly was from
and how many people made a shitload of money off of that? How many of all of those leaders made a shitload of money?
Probably the same amount of money. It's probably the same amount of money that the people who are leading in Ukraine are making right now too. Okay? Just the same amount of money that Obama made, just the same amount of money that the Clintons made. And don't pretend it's only on one side of the party. The basis of any governmental system, hold on, you're a teacher. The basis for any governmental system is war. You know this. You know this. We don't agree with it.
Raytheon is in my city. Raytheon is in my city. I know how much we make. I know how much Raytheon
You also have Grumman and you have Lockheed and Martin a stone's throw away too. I am aware.
And we have Caterpillar
I used to live in your state, and I love your state. So I still haven't heard why you think that Vladimir Putin's going into Poland. I haven't heard it. It's
not just Poland. It's not just Poland. It's all those countries to the west of Ukraine that Putin wants to go to. He's going Latvia, all of them.
Okay.
That's why I think we need to stand. And you think so? If we get out, what happens?
If we get out of
Ukraine? And the rest of the country of Ukraine, we're not actually in. Well, I think we're in. I think we've been in Ukraine from the very beginning. But we're not saying that.
We have been. I know personally. Look at. Hey, can I see your face? I don't like talking to your chin. Okay, and maybe that's why maybe that's why we're being inhuman to each other.
I'm on a phone.
Well, they'll pick it up. It seems like I don't know how to maybe that's why we're being inhuman to each other because we can't see each other. Here's the thing I'll tell you. We agree on a lot of things, you know. I just don't think we're hearing each other. And I'll take responsibility for some of that. What do I think would happen between Russia and Ukraine? I think what will have happened in every single country that tries to expand its territory. Someone will win and someone will lose. That's what I think. Do I think it's in our interest to get involved? Either we get involved or we stop the proxy war. Because proxy wars don't work. We should have learned that in Greece.
I know that.
We didn't learn it in Afghanistan. We didn't learn it in Laos. We didn't learn it in Cambodia. We didn't learn it in South North Korea. Ma'am, you and I both know we didn't learn it in Syria. We didn't learn it in Crimea, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Rwanda, the Congo, Egypt. Proxy wars don't work.
You left out Latin America.
No, well, Latin America was a CIA drug op, and you know that too. That's a completely different conversation. Completely different conversation. Well, that's about money, and that is about...
It killed millions of people.
It has.
It killed.
It has.
It continues to.
Like I said, you and I agree on more than we disagree.
And it's the reason for what's going on, and that's the exact reason of what's going on at the border. And it angers me to no end.
So I can gain some basis points here with you and try to understand, because I think we're starting to understand each other a little bit. How do you feel about the pull out of Afghanistan and what happened with Joe Biden and the pull out of Afghanistan? What are your thoughts on that process?
Okay, my thoughts about Afghanistan. I thought we should have been out of Afghanistan when Obama was still president. That's what I thought.
Well,
we were already on our way out. We were already on. Well, I'm going to answer your question because it goes back to Obama. So Trump gets in. He's going to play this game, which is what he did. And then he left us with 2,400 military. That's how many military that was left in Afghanistan. We were on our way out of Afghanistan. So Biden was part of the deal, in my estimation, of as much as that I have read, part of the deal of him becoming president and those who voted for him was to get us out of Afghanistan, and that is what he did. Do I think?
I appreciate that, but you didn't answer my question. Can you answer it?
Yes, I am. You asked me what I thought of how he got out of it. Do I think it could have been done a little better? Hell yeah! I was alive when we left Saigon and the helicopters were being dropped off. I remember that very clear. I saw that in real time. That's back in the days when on the news they actually showed the actual news. They actually showed the dead bodies. They actually showed the caskets in the planes as they were coming back.
That was no longer good for the commercials in the 24-hour news cycle, was it?
I know. But my point is that I remember all of that. Do I think he could have finessed it? I guess that's the best word I can come up with. Better, maybe. I don't know that any other way that we got out of Afghanistan would have worked out any better.
Awesome. Can I tell you
they were already biting at the butt.
Can I tell you a better way? Can I tell you a better way? All right. First of all, I wouldn't have given up our strategic position on Bagram Air Base, which was defensible by 360 degrees. It had immediate emergency response teams, and they could actually spin up emergency response teams. They shouldn't have exfilled from an airport that had over 276 different bombings and attacks just that year alone. They shouldn't have used Taliban for security groups. They should have brought in Rangers who actually can hold airports. They should have went ahead and recognized the intelligence, and Biden should have known a year before when they went to Tajikistan and they were seeing the actual Afghan soldiers surrendering to ISIS and Al-Qaeda forces and giving up their weapons. The reason why is that they knew it was going to fall. They should have went ahead and slashed and burned all of the weapons that they turned over in the billions upon billions of dollars, including biometric software and the NGOs who were stranded there. They got 13 American killed because they actually released prisoners from Bagram Air Base who turned around and went and bombed and killed our soldiers. So, Joe, but you say a little better. My opinion is he fucked up, and it is borderline impeachment and get him out of office because of that. I really don't care about Hunter Biden. I really don't give a shit about all the other drama. He was absolutely negligent with Afghanistan, and anyone who says he wasn't just doesn't know what they're talking about. That's what I despise him for. That's it. That's the only reason I am upset with Joe Biden, besides the inflation, besides our economy, but that's the one. He didn't need to have those kids killed.
Well, inflation's going down. The economy is going.
Inflation's not going down. The inflation's going down, but the valuation of the dollar is worse than it's ever been. The buyer power of the dollar is down almost 80%. That's not fair to say.
The buyer power of our dollar is better than any other country in Europe.
That's not saying much, man. We've always been, American dollar has always been a leader since 1926.
No, that's not true. No, that is not true.
Please tell me the foreign currency that was higher than the American dollar. Go.
The pound, the franc, I got to remember, when did I go back to France? When I was in France in 1990, when I was in France in 2000, their franc was worth more than our American dollar. Absolutely, that is a fact.
You're talking about foreign currency exchange versus the buying power of the dollar. Those are not the same thing. I'm sorry. You're a teacher? You're a teacher? Fuck. I gotta go. I'm gonna throw up. Are you kidding me?
Oh, okay. I am a teacher.
You actually believe that the currency trade means the valuation of buying power of a dollar is dependent upon if it trades higher in a foreign country or not? Have you heard about currency manipulation? Have you heard about divesting? Are you aware that the American dollar is no longer on the gold and it's actually based off OPEC and oil? Do you know pretty much every civilized country in the world trades in American currency? You're aware of this, right?
Yes, I do know
that every business in the world trades with the American dollar. Do you realize that every foreign government has invested in American soil and has invested into our debt? You're aware of this too. But you're going to tell me because the Deutschmark was trading at a higher value in one summer when you had a fling, and that means our valuation. Okay,
I didn't have a fling. I have family. I have many family in Europe. It wasn't a fling.
I appreciate you.
Well,
Listen.
at least you said
Listen. I'm
that.
going to
No,
say
I
I
don't know.
appreciate you. I thank you for admitting that you are a communist. That's
I
awesome.
didn't
Most
say I
people
was a
don't do that.
communist. That is not what I said.
Yeah, you did. You said you were a democratic
That is not what I said. I
socialist.
said I was a democratic socialist. That is not a communist.
All right. Do you believe?
And that's bullshit to do that.
Do you believe in free healthcare?
Free
You believe in
healthcare. I
free
believe
healthcare.
that the government is part. I don't know that it's free. You pay for it. It's paid. I believe in universal healthcare. That's not free healthcare because our taxes would pay for universal healthcare. So it's not free.
Okay. Do you
Nothing is free.
okay? Do you believe that the government should control industry?
Government should control industry. Depends on define
You're
your
a
definition
communist.
of that.
You're a communist. It's okay.
Define your definition of that. Define
not
your
difficult
definition
what I
of what
just
that
said.
means. Control.
Petrochemical, textile, oil and production, medical health care,
You think the medical health
any
care that we
commerce
have
of
right
any
now in
goods,
this country is
vehicles,
working?
engines,
Do you think
batteries.
medical health care is working in this country? The amount of money that we pay for our medication in this
Go
country
figure.
versus any other
Interesting.
country.
Go figure. Go figure. It's amazing that all these countries come here and train in our schools and learn from American medical hospitals, but we have the worst medical health care in the civilized world. It's interesting you say that.
No,
Maybe
what did I just say? What did
I
I
heard
just
you.
say? I was talking about medicine. No, you didn't. What you did is you took a piece of what I
right,
said.
but go ahead and
I said
try to get a
how
heart
much we pay
transplant.
for medicine.
Go ahead and try to get a heart transplant for $768 a month for a family of four anywhere else in the world. Tell me where you can do that. I pay
Who was the first person
$768
that
a month,
had
and I can get 760. I had a $750,000 back. I had a $750,000 back surgery. My copay was $2,000. I didn't pay a penny more.
Well, I had hip surgery and I owed $12,000.
Well,
so I
that's
guess you
because
have better
you're
health
deductible.
insurance than I.
That's because teachers don't have great health care, and they should. And that's because you should blame the state, just for our public education system too, because the government shouldn't run shit. The government is responsible for protecting these borders and protecting this country, and as small as we can make it would be a good thing. I think you should have the best health care in the world because you served our country, just like our vets and just like anyone else who serves our country. But I don't think we should pay for people's health care who don't do shit and sit on their ass all day either.
I do have a question.
Sure, go ahead, Liv.
I'm just wondering, what grade did you teach?
Well, I started with the little kids and I worked all the way up to high school. I started with I taught Montessori to begin with. And I taught Montessori 3 to 6 year olds.
Oh, that's
cool. Then I taught Montessori 1st through 3rd grade. Then I went to middle school, and then I ended in high school. I spent 20 of my 38 years in high school.
What subjects did you teach in middle school and high school?
Middle school, I taught all subjects. I taught math and science in middle school. When I got to high school, I was teaching English and math as well. And I'm trying to remember, when did I start teaching history? I started teaching history in 2005. So from 2005 to 2018, I taught U.S. history, world history, economics, and U.S. government.
You taught U.S. history?
I surely did.
How hard was that? How hard was that for you, considering that it's all fake and it's all whitewashed and not real?
Because I didn't use the books. Remember, I told you every year I would go to my school board and tell them what books I was using.
What are some different things that you taught? Were you teaching in Arizona at that time?
Yes, I was.
What were some things that you taught differently that wasn't in the curriculum? Can you give me some examples?
Sure. I taught. So mostly what I taught is Howard Zinn's book. Do you know Howard Zinn's book, A History of the United States?
Heard of it. Haven't actually partaken in it, but tell me.
That's the book that I taught. I taught from that book.
Yeah, but tell me.
I didn't teach from the curriculum. Give me one
thing that wasn't
goes
taught
all the way
in
from the
schools.
beginning. Okay, so from the beginning, I taught. I started with the native tribes. The first thing that I ever taught when we started with U.S. history in high school, we talked about the 500 native tribes, where they lived, what part of the United States they lived in, and then the beginning of the white man coming into the country and taking over all of those places where the tribes were. Then we talked about.
Wait. Hold on a second. Did you talk about typhoid? Did you talk about yellow fever? Did you talk about that 92% of? Did you talk about that 92% of the Native American tribes died of European diseases before we even fired first musket and rifle? Okay, so don't sit here and tell me that the white man was responsible. Yes, we did poison blankets. Yes, we did do things that weren't right. But only 8%, and it was mostly the weak and sickened and the young that fought us. And that's ultimately the United States made some horrible decisions.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It was only 8% or 1% or 50%. What we did was wrong.
Every single civilized nation in the world has conquered wherever they are now. No civilization is around for the last 200 years that was here. British conquered. The colonials conquered.
What do we always talk about? What is it that we're always saying all the time? You said it. You said it at least 4 times. I believe in the Constitution. The Constitution says what does it say? What does it say? What's that first sentence?
I don't know. You tell me. Tell me I'm wrong. Go ahead. You tell me.
No, what's the first sentence? No, I want to know.
Tell me what the first sentence is. So well. You have told me several things that you have no idea what you're talking about. I want to see if you know what the Constitution says. I'm not a self-declared communist. What does the Constitution say? Because here's the thing.
I am not a communist. Stop calling me that. That is not what I am.
They're right here. They're right here. Where's your Bible? What's the one that you have next to your bed?
My Bible?
These are mine.
I have the Constitution in my purse.
Good. Well, then guess what? Then you should be able to tell me the first sentence. It's right here. I'll give you the first word. You ready? You tell me what the first word of the Constitution is. I'm waiting. Just tell me the first word. That's all I want you to do. Tell me the first word.
What I wanted
Don't sit here and challenge me because it's actually written on my arm. I could read my arm. We the people. Come on, give it to me. It's right here. We the people. Finish the rest of the sentence. We the people.
We the people of the United States.
In order to form a more perfect union. Keep it up. You're doing great. Go ahead. Finish the rest.
I used to make everyone remember. I used to make the kids memorize it, and I can't come up with it today.
You should read it again. And you should read it more.
I have read it. My point is that we always say that we're free people. But who was only free were white men who owned slaves.
Okay.
They're the only ones who could vote.
At one point in our history, that is true. Let me ask you a question. When does the expiration time clock run out on that, and how long do we have to carry that baggage for?
I don't know. Ask the people in the South. Ask that jackass Tuberon or Tuberville. Ask that jackass Tuberville who said that he thought that white nationalists are just Americans. Ask that piece of shit.
Okay.
I have another question.
Hold on a second. Hold on real quick. Let me ask you a question. What do you think of Eli Crane? You know Eli Crane in Arizona? District 1?
Oh, my God. The one who does that goddamn with the bullets? The one who takes the bullets and repurposes them? Yeah, I know who he is.
Could you do me a favor? Could you do
me a favor? Could you stop? The one who said colored people?
Could you stop blaspheming? And could you stop using the Lord's name in vain? Please?
Okay. I don't know. Maybe.
I know you don't believe. But we do have listeners who do, and I try to make sure. I haven't insulted you, called you names. I'm frustrated with you, but I would just appreciate it.
I didn't call you names. You asked if I knew who Eli Crane is.
Well,
I know who Eli Crane is.
Yeah, well, you know what? You just took a very good friend of mine who is a United States Navy SEAL, and you actually used the Lord's name against him. So you damned him.
What does he do for a living?
Now he's a congressman.
How does he make his money?
Now he's a congressman.
I know that, but how did he make his money?
When he first started, he got out of the United States Navy SEAL, and he became a Sig Sauer representative as a firearms instructor and ambassador for Sig Sauer. From there, he went ahead and created his own company. Did you want me to finish? Did you want me to answer the question, or did you want to talk?
Sure. Absolutely.
Finish. Then I'll finish. Well, you want to know, and I'm going to answer it. Just like all the things you've asked me, I've been able to answer. By the way, you didn't know the first line in the Constitution. It is sad. It's horribly sad. You're an American. You should.
It is. I know.
I know Eli Crane knows it because it's written on his arm too. But anyway, and then Eli went ahead and created a company through a TV show called Shark Tank, and it was called Bottle Breacher, where he repurposed shell casings and turned them into beer openers, 50 cal or grenades or things like that. Right. And then he would put their company's slogan and things to that effect, and he turned that into a multi-million-dollar business. So that's what Eli did. He also served our country honorably as a United States Navy SEAL. We kind of tend to forget that. Do you know who Eli is?
I know. I've not met him. I have not met him, but yes, I do know who he is.
He's
not the one just this week who called people colored people? Was that not him?
Accidentally, yes, he most certainly did. Did you listen to the beginning of what he said?
Yep, I did. I heard the whole thing.
Did you hear when
I watch C-SPAN quite a bit during the day.
All right. So I just wanted to get your take on Eli since he's a representative. You think he's a racist, right?
I've never met him. I've said that to you. I don't know. I think his lack of being able to call people black, and he had to call them colored people, that goes all the way back to the 30s and 40s.
Have you ever made a mistake?
Luckily, he never said. I've made many mistakes, tons of mistakes.
Okay,
Tons.
so then you have it in your heart to forgive, just not a Republican.
I hate that you call these people Republicans.
Why
Parents
isn't Eli
were
a
Republican.
Let me ask you a question.
Parents. I'll tell you why. Let me finish
Sure.
my sentence.
Define
My
a
parents
Republican.
were
Define what a
Republicans.
Republican is. Go ahead. Tell me what a Republican is.
I don't know what they are anymore. I have no clue what you guys are anymore.
Wait a
The
second.
Freedom Caucus people
Don't say you guys. Don't lump me.
Okay,
Lump
well, I
me in
don't
with
know.
the Freedom Caucus. Why are you lumping me in with the Freedom Caucus?
Isn't he part of the Freedom Caucus? Isn't Eli Crane part of the Freedom Caucus?
Wait. So you support the Black Caucus? Does that mean that all of a sudden everything the Black Caucus believes that you believe because they're a part of your party? Come on, you don't do that. You don't believe that. Just because Eli and I don't agree on everything politically, I already told you I don't believe in J6. I don't believe in the stolen election. You got to give me some credit for that. Why would you think that I would be a part of the Freedom Caucus? I am simply a person who says that Eli Crane has been on my show. I've had a few drinks with him. He's a nice guy. I consider him a friend. He probably doesn't even would say I'm a friend. I just had a question. Do you believe he's a racist?
I told you I can't answer that because I don't know him.
Then why would you bring up something that most people would consider racist? How about you simply say, I just don't have an opinion on it? Why would you bring up about that? You seem to know a lot about it.
I guess I do have well, only because he was in the news. Well, no, I knew, you know what? I knew about him before that. That's not true.
I know.
Because no, here's why I know about him. Okay. The representative who he took the place of, O'Halloran, I have known him for quite a while. He's not my representative anymore. I have Juan Cincomani.
Did you like him?
Is who I have.
Did you like him?
God, no.
Okay.
God, no.
I just don't think you like Republicans. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
I don't like what the Republicans are pushing. I don't like.
What are we pushing?
I started to tell you about my parents.
I don't want to hear about your parents because we can relate all of our problems to parents. Mine too. I want to know why you don't like Republicans.
I don't believe in homeschooling. I don't believe in what I would say many of you Republicans, your philosophy on where you want this country to go is no place I want this country to go.
Tell me what we believe about education.
Universal health care.
Okay, well,
what do I believe
there's not about
education?
belief. Do you understand that none of this abortion isn't about belief, that schools aren't about belief? It's about what you can prove and what you can and what the stats say. You believe in public education, right?
Absolutely. I know that was the great equalizer. It had always been the great equalizer until
it used to be. It used to be. It certainly isn't anymore. It's the great fucking dregs of society. You guys suck. No offense. Teachers today suck. You guys are doing horrible. There's not anything you're fucking leading in. You guys got these teacher unions wrapped around who protect you, who give you tenure. You fail constantly. You let students fail constantly. You're never held accountable. Honestly, you should fire 75% of the teachers out there and give the people like you jobs who actually care, because they don't. They care about their paychecks and they care about their fucking cushy tenure and summer vacations. We have been last in just about everything for the last 3 decades. And the reason why is the failing system. Public education is a failure. It needs to be revitalized. And the only way we're going to do that is have the private industry get involved. We need vouchers. We need private schools. We need charter schools. Why not? Why are you so afraid of competition? Why are you afraid of competition? I am not afraid of competition.
I have watched, since 2009 here in the state of Arizona is when they started with the vouchers and the homeschooling. Those kids, when we still had what was called the Ames testing, when it was time for them to graduate from high school, they dropped off those kids into our high schools to take the test. They didn't do the job that they were supposed to do. We had to make sure that
it's not their job, it's yours. It's the teacher's job. You guys are failing them. You
No, I'm
have
talking about the other
$16,500.
schools.
The national average of a child is $16,500 that you get per kid. How in the hell
We get
can you not educate a
$6,780
child for?
per
Okay,
kid.
I said on average. I said national average. You have to go ahead and take the big cities too. I understand Arizona's a little bit lower, but even with $6,000 per classroom, you're telling me that $100,000 plus is not enough money to teach kids basic math, basic reading, and STEM?
You weren't listening. You were not listening to me. They're not in
Oh, I
our schools.
apologize.
They don't come to our schools until their senior year. They stay in the charter
talking
schools
about
because the charter
homeschoolers.
schools don't have did not have to do the Ames. The homeschoolers who came back to us to take their tests, they flunked. I will tell you,
I'm sure they did because they don't get support from the U.S. government. Their taxes still go to these public schools. They get no support at home whatsoever. They're working multiple fucking jobs. They've got a higher daycare, and they give their kids a fraction of the attention that they should be getting in these 32 to 35 kid classrooms when it should be 16. You guys are outnumbered 32 to 1. You know what I learned about 32 to 1 odds in the military? You might as well eat the bullet yourself. You ain't getting out alive. There's no way with kids that you're going to be able to teach 32 children. It's an impossible task and one that you shouldn't have to face. That's public education.
No, that's not what public education once was. That's not what it was when I first started.
I didn't say once was. I said it is. It is. It's a failure, and it's been that way since 1974 because that's when I went through it, and I'm telling you, we were 28, 29 to 1 teacher every single day. California gets the most money out of any other school district in the union. Trust me, I went to Ventura. This is an expensive, elitist neighborhood. My parents fell into money. We had 32 kids per teacher. We used to turn our desk upside down whenever she would leave the room, and we're absolutely rambunctious as hell. This poor lady couldn't teach anything. I didn't say charter's the answer. I didn't say vouchers are the answer. I didn't say private school's the answer. I said competition. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with having multiple choices and letting parents decide?
Define competition. Define how you do public education with competition.
You have public education people. I'll tell you. I will answer you. You have. Wait a second. You don't listen. You asked me why I'm a Republican. I'm trying to tell you why, and I'm giving you a solution, but you just don't want to hear it. And that's fine because you don't agree with it. But don't ask me and then just shake your head. Why do you think
explain to me how you make public education competition?
I will tell you how you make public education better. Limit the amount of classrooms and get rid of the teacher unions and have them work off of meritocracy. Instead of protectivism.
Why are you
That's
blaming teachers' unions? I was a union steward.
Suck.
Can I tell you that?
Suck.
No, they do not. Do you know about them? Have you ever worked with them? No, we do not.
Well, no, I've worked with unions.
I had to help fire.
I'm not a teacher. Of course I've never worked, but I've worked with unions.
And you're not for unions either.
Not. I was in 1960 and I was in 1980. I'm certainly not now. What are you? Explain to me what your union does for you except protect your job.
That's not what the unions do. They do not protect my job.
That's exactly what they do.
You cut me off. I was the steward for my high school. There were quite a few situations where we had to fire our teachers, and I was usually one of the first ones. Why did you have to fire?
Can you answer me why they had to be fired? Tell me why. Can you let me know that?
2 of them were young men who were dating our high school kids.
Sexual assault. What else? Was one a physical altercation? Because that's all it takes to get fired. Sex and beating a kid. Everything else is carte blanche.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
We also fired. I remember we had a math teacher that we had to fire because he wasn't teaching at all. He was not teaching at all. We fired him. There's a group. I did it for, I don't know, 20 odd years. There's quite a few people. This thing where you say that we protect their job. I don't remember. I must have been living in another world because I don't remember protecting teachers from getting fired. If a teacher did something wrong and it was an outrageous thing, that teacher was fired. That teacher was fired. I can remember times and places with Mr. Needle, my principal.
As a teacher for what, 30 some odd years? Is that right?
38.
40? 38 years, almost 40 years. Four decades. You're not aware of tenure?
Of course I know what tenure is. Absolutely.
Why did you say
But that
that the
doesn't
unions
mean
don't protect your job?
tenure has. Jesus Christ. Okay, you even
There you
get
go again.
sort
There you
of
go.
tenure.
There you go.
Oh,
Do you want to pray
okay.
together? Let's pray. You want to say a prayer together?
No.
You sure?
No.
Well, you seem like you want to
Okay,
pray.
yeah.
You keep using the Lord's name in vain. And I just want to make
I do
sure.
have a question before.
Go ahead. What's your question?
I'm just curious if you know who the first person to own a slave in the United States was.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be rich. Listen to this one.
The first person to own a slave in the United States, I'm sure it's going to be a black person. Knowing you, it's going to be a black person.
Knowing you.
You don't know anything.
Hey, guess
about
what,
me,
lady? She's Mexican. Don't be
I don't know.
racist.
Yeah.
Well,
She's
I'm just
Mexican.
saying, I don't know. Because
You don't
where
like
is this going?
Mexicans?
Who was the
Yeah,
first person?
well, it's important to
Absolutely,
know
I like-
because of context.
My
I mean,
grandchildren are Mexican. My grandchildren are Mexican. Of course, I like Mexicans.
Okay, well, then don't say people like you. I mean, that's kind of rude, right?
Well, we do have a line of trolls that's waiting to call in. So
Anybody can call in. We'll have it. Get everybody here.
Okay, so
All
I'll
right,
post
listen. It's listen. It's late. I at least appreciate you sticking
It
in
is
there.
late.
I appreciate you sticking in there. I'm not trying to paint you. We actually agree on a few things. We think that nation building is useless, right? We agree on that.
No, I don't think that. No.
Oh.
Nation
Oh,
building
wait.
is useless. When
We
did
only
you?
supported
When did
you-
we agree on that?
You only because you told me
When
you
did we
only
agree
supported
that
you.
nation
Wait.
building is
I'll
useless?
answer. You said you only supported Ukraine. That's the only war you've ever supported. Those are your words. So you
Okay,
think
nation building. So you believe nation building has to do with wars? Always.
It always
Always?
does. Yes.
Always?
Yeah. I'll say it again. What are you, a parrot? Yes, always. Please name a nation that we've actually rebuilt their infrastructure, rebuilt their military without actually rescuing them from a conflict or actually getting involved in that conflict. I'll wait. You pick one.
In the United States.
No,
Yeah,
because we've never had
I guess
we've
that-
never
that-
had
that's
nation
been-
building in the U.S. We've never went to war with ourselves except for the Civil War, but that's okay.
No,
Go
if we
ahead.
didn't go to war with ourselves with the Civil War, absolutely we went to war with ourselves.
Right,
The
and we
most amount of people that we killed about each other. The largest group of
excuse me?
soldiers that
Vietnam?
we killed. The
World
largest group of Vietnam was 57,000. No, I'm saying
57. What?
57,000 people. 57,000 soldiers were killed in Vietnam. That's how many were killed in Vietnam. 57,000.
If that's the number, I would be shocked. How about World War II?
I used to know that number. I don't know that number anymore, but I would say it's
How many Russians were lost?
probably
Okay, I want to get back to nation building.
the Russians had lost way more than we did. Three
Yeah,
times
50
what we
million.
lost.
50 million.
Yeah, at least three times more than we lost. I know that. I do know that.
So just answer me that question. Which country nation building? By the way, you're absolutely right about Vietnam. I didn't know it was that low. That's incredible because it was what, 250,000 Vietnamese, 58,000
That's right.
American soldiers.
At least.
What? It was
Well,
11
and
years.
You forgot about all of those that were that became disabled. There was over
I know, and Agent
400,000
Orange and everything
disabled.
else. Yeah. But it just strikes me as low. I mean, what a crazy number. 58,000. It was 11 years, right? Or was it less than that?
It
Hold on.
depends on which 58 is when they say that's when Eisenhower went, and it was in 1958.
Yep.
He had his AIDS in 1958 was when he had his AIDS. I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I didn't know the
French were
first
there.
sentence.
The French got their ass
The
kicked.
French were there,
Yep.
just like the French were in Afghanistan.
Maybe it was 7 years.
Anyway.
Was it 7 years? Hold on. I got to find out the years real quick. 'cause that's
1958 was when we were first in Vietnam as AIDS.
1955 to
that's what they said.
75. Okay, Vietnam
They
War,
said
also known as
55, I thought it was
conflict
58.
from November 1st, 1955 to the fall of Saigon on 1975. Wow, longer than we thought. It was only 20 years. See?
I thought it was 58. I really did think. I thought that
I
was
don't
when
know.
when Eisenhower first brought the AIDS in.
We're just
We must
getting
have been
old.
helping the French then.
We're
Maybe
get-
that's
well,
when we were
that's
helping. I
the
knew we
whole
were
thing.
helping the
That's what-
French before we officially said that we were
Right.
there.
We
I
were
do know
helping
that.
the
I do
French.
remember that.
I know
We
that
were
too,
helping
and that's
the
why
French.
that's why I thought we lost more than that. But unfortunately, I mean, shit. I don't know everything. That's why I asked the question. Listen, just quickly, please tell me a country that we have helped nation build, replace their government, infrastructure, military, even currency, and especially their political system, that we have not either helped save them from a war or we have actually been in a conflict with, or one of our allies. I don't think you can name one.
Well, didn't we just do that in Iraq? Didn't we do that in Afghanistan?
We went to a war with Iraq. We were in a war with Afghanistan. Maybe not a declared war. We haven't declared war since World War II.
And even when we went to Europe, that's what my father did. He was one of the people who helped rebuild Europe. We went to Europe. Of course, we had to get rid of Hitler. I don't assume that I was against it. I didn't think so. But then we bombed the living shit out of Europe.
Are you sure? Because he was a National Socialist. Are you sure? Because he was a National Socialist, you know?
Yeah, no? But that's a little different than a democratic socialist. Way different.
Well, of course,
and
because you just changed the name.
The point that I was making is that we bombed the living. The first time I went to Europe was 1955, and when I went in 1955, it was still pretty much demolished. The first time I walked into Schott, it's a cathedral outside of Paris. They still did not have their stained glass windows, because they couldn't find the stained glass windows because people hid them. It took in 1965 when I went back to Europe again, that's when they finally found all of the stained glass windows. The only reason I even tell you that story, there's one more thing I want to say.
Sure.
I was at the beach with my father. I was 13 years old, and I was at the sands, and I was picking my hand through, and there were still bullets,
shell casings,
in that sand.
All
those years later, we took those. My father actually took those home with him, and I remember I was a teenager, but even though as a teenager, I remember thinking to myself, I wonder how many people had died right here on this beach that I'm sitting at, the Normandy beach that I'm sitting at.
Yeah.
Well, I knew, but
It depends which landing zone you landed on, because some of the landing zones were a lot less, weren't covered because they were sparsely populated. But some of those landing boats, like Omaha, were just bloodbaths. God.
Well, but my point, though, the point that I'm making is that all those many years after, it's almost 20 years later, right? 1965 is 21 years later. It was 1944 that we were at Normandy. So 21 years later, and I'm sitting on a beach, and there's still shell casings. So that tells you how many shell casings there were from that battle.
There's hundreds of thousands of pounds of brass. Absolutely, and there were people.
And then many of my friends.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and many of my friends were part of Vietnam. That's why I was so adamant. I was tired of going to funerals. I was so adamant against the Vietnam War. My friends who came home, they were my high school friends, and then they went to Vietnam, and when they came back, they weren't the same people that I knew them to be, and many of them died of so many different types of cancers, and because of Agent Orange. They had to fight. They had to fight the government for Agent Orange. That's a whole nother.
That didn't change in Iraq, and that didn't.
Hey, I know.
It didn't change in Iraq, and it didn't change in Afghanistan. It's not going to change in Ukraine too, because we've got Americans over there too on soil right now.
I know
fighting.
we do. Oh, I know we do.
I know for a fact we do.
I knew we had Americans the first day. You know when I knew? So it had only been 2 weeks. There had been 2 weeks that they were fighting. It had only been 2 weeks in Ukraine, and a report came out on the news. And I turned, my 24-year-old grandson happened to be in the living room, and I said, I better not cuss. We're there, is what I said.
You can cuss, just don't. I just ask you not to use the Lord's name in vain. You can cuss all you want, please.
My words were, we're fucking there. And Nicholas turns to me and says, what do you mean, Grandma? I said, because they won this significant battle. And the only way that those Ukrainians, because we hadn't given very much to them at all. In fact, we hadn't even given anything to them. It was the first 2 weeks. I said, we're there. We're already there. We've got men on the land. There's no way they would have won that battle without us being there. So I know that we're there. I know that they're not admitting it, but I know that we're there.
Well, that should bother you right there, right? That should bother you. How can you support
here's the
that?
thing. You know
How
why?
can you support that?
No, it's not that I'm supporting that. We have done that. We did that. We do it in every country. We do it all We continue to, this is the one thing that we, the United States, continue to do. We go into these countries, just like Cambodia. How long did it take for them to finally admit that they were in Cambodia?
Well, yeah. It's
5
same
years
thing
at
with,
least. We knew.
They didn't
We
say
knew
they
for
were.
5 years that they were in Cambodia.
They were in Greece. They were in the whole listen, the whole basis of the Taliban and Al Qaeda and a lot of people don't know that Osama bin Laden was a CIA asset. I mean, he was.
That's right.
We created him.
I knew that. That's
okay.
right. We trained him. Not only did we create him, we trained him.
Well, we did train him. Can I say something? Can I say something?
Sure.
We started off. Okay, I'm going to say something. You're not a communist. You're a democratic socialist, which means heavily that you believe in the stasis of democracy, which means it's not a plurality. It means ultimately that, and I'm going to try to represent you properly, is that with democracy, the majority voice wins, but you also believe that the government has a responsibility not just for protecting its people, but from a social and economic standpoint, ensure that people are properly represented and equally taken care of. Is that a fair statement? Okay, great.
Absolutely,
my position is I think that is the worst form of government we could ever possibly have, but I respect you believing that. Hold on, it's not that much different. I am a conservative when it comes to fiscal responsibility. I believe small government is important. I believe it should not be in our bedrooms. I believe it should not go ahead and be in anything unless there is a private alternative to the government. I believe in options. I believe in choices. Okay? And then I am fervently a constitutional supporter. Yes, the Second Amendment. Yes, the First Amendment. Yes, every single portion of the Constitution. I believe in amendments, but I do believe it should be upheld. Lastly, I am a social conservative. I believe the lesbian, gay community should be treated with the utmost respect, that their choices should be their own, but that my acceptance of their choices is not necessary for them to live a fruitful and happy life. And I think everyone can agree upon that, I hope. I like you. I really do. I don't think you're a bad... So. You know what? Look at me. There's one thing that you can call me a cultist, but you don't get to call me a liar. I like you.
You don't get to call me one either.
I haven't. Okay. I think you're passionate. I appreciate you calling in. I think you are of value to this show. If you want to call in anytime and tell me that I am a knuckle dragging Republican Trump maggot, you can call me that. But I still think that I appreciate the conversation that we've had, and I value that you do have a lot of information and you know some things, and I respect that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you don't have to say anything nice about me. It's okay.
Talking to me. Have people been listening to us this whole time?
We've had 147 people on the whole time, and 30,000 people will see this over the next 30 days.
Oh, great.
You shouldn't be embarrassed. You said some things.
No, I'm not embarrassed. The only reason I'm laughing is I'm just laughing. I've been dealing with the recall, and Justine Watzak has done some pretty crazy stuff with myself as part of the recall.
She's gonna love this. She's gonna love this. And if she used, listen, hey, can you look at me real quick so I can see your eyes? I hate talking to the chin. If she tries to, if she tries to use this against you, if she tries to use this against you in any way, shape, or form, I will have a copyright suit all over her ass in a New York minute. She won't use this against you, and she can't because I won't release it to her. I'm as good as my word. But I have a question.
I'm not worried about that.
I have a question. Do you still think I'm in a cult?
Are you for Trump? That's what I want to know first. Will you vote for Trump?
Would I vote for? Okay, let me explain. This is the one I never say this. I let you say this a whole bunch. I haven't said this whole show. Let me explain myself, and that's tough because I don't dodge that. Usually, I just give you an answer. In 2016, I did not vote for Trump. The whole reason we created this show is because my wife wanted to come out and put a banner up that she wanted to vote for Trump. We lost our godparents of our family; they abandoned us, and we lost many friends because she voted for Trump. I didn't support Trump until about 3 months in his presidency when he released his SCOTUS list, and then he started talking about just things that really resembled, in my opinion, Republican and conservative values. In 2020, I most assuredly voted for Trump. If you ask me right now, do I want Trump on the ticket? The answer is no, I don't. But if he is on the ticket, I will absolutely vote for him over Joe Biden. I will not vote for Joe Biden. I'm sorry. Listen, there's a lot of things you can say about Donald Trump, but the one thing he did not do is get us into wars and conflict. And I am not going to have Joe Biden get us into World War III because I think his decisions are horrible.
What about Syria? What about Syria? How can you say that?
What
about
he had
Syria?
initial wait. He had initial strikes and then retreated his position. What do you want? He didn't start that conflict. Just like Biden didn't start Afghanistan. Come on now, listen to me. You know this. You know this. That was Obama funded. That was not Joe Biden. That was not Donald Trump. He got out of Syria. Now, if you want to critique how he got out of Syria, you can say that. But what I'll tell you what he did not do. He may have left equipment behind, but they made sure they slash and burn. He didn't have working Blackhawks and working SAM missiles and working Stinger missiles and working M4s and M14s and biometric software and artillery and mortars. Joe Biden just came up and ran. Taliban were flying choppers for about 6 months and ditching them into the dirt. A little bit different, but he didn't start Syria. You know this. Listen, Donald Trump did a lot of things. What he did not do is get us into any conflicts, and you have to at least respect him for that, don't you? Do you respect him for anything? Is there anything that Donald Trump did? Is there one? Can you tell me one thing that you?
So I have history. I have long history about Donald Trump. I grew up in. I told you I was out of Buffalo.
Tell me one thing he did that you like.
There's nothing.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That's the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard.
No, there is nothing. Look at him. What
about peace in the Middle East?
What I don't understand.
What about peace in the Middle East? Hold on. He had 3 peace treaties in the Middle East. That's never happened before. Wait a second. You didn't listen to me. You didn't listen to me. You didn't. Why are you getting so upset? We just mentioned Trump and you blow. We were doing so good. We were doing so well.
I can't. It's so hard. I'm going to tell you why. It breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart. I can't even put words. I can't even put words to how. When I hear someone say that they're going to vote for him, there is not. I can't hear his voice. I can't see his face.
It's because you hate
the
him.
man. Let me tell you, there is nothing about. What is there? I can't even.
I'm trying.
Yeah, like I said, I can't even put my. I can't even.
Don't get mad at me. Don't get.
I'm not
I'm just
mad
asking
at you.
a simple question. Listen, hey, can I just ask a question? Listen, 3 peace treaties in the Middle East with Jerusalem and foreign countries, United Arab Emirates, right? That's not good. Is that good? Just come on, you can say that, right? 3 treaties that no other president in U.S. history have tried to do, including Obama, including Carter, including Nixon. We can go on and on, including the Bushes, Clinton, everybody. Donald Trump was the only one to negotiate any treaties with Israel in the Middle East. That's an exciting thing. No? Okay. Then can I just say one thing as a young whippersnapper who doesn't know everything in the world? I think you need to get over Donald Trump. Because no president should ever make you this pissed off, because you and I both know they ain't worth it. That's my advice to you, because I think you're too nice of a lady to be this hateful towards a person you don't know. Screw him. You can hate him.
I do know of him. I do know of him. I knew when he did.
Can I tell you a story that you would love to hear about Donald Trump, that you would be shocked that I witnessed? Can I tell you that at least? Because you might be like, wow, that's an interesting thing that you're telling me. Do you want to know or do you not care? It's okay if you don't care.
I don't know.
All right, well, I'll tell you this. My good friend, Force Recon Marine, African-American, lost both legs. He was driving down in a truck, hit an IED, lost both legs. He was the only one to survive. He was thrown 80 feet from his vehicle. Somehow, he still has function of his body. He's in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. And this was a transfer over at Andrews. And he was coming off Air Force One, and he was there to meet him. And I was about 120 feet away. Press was away. The moment Donald Trump came off the plane, he shook hands with police officers that were there and the Marine Corps that were there, saluted and everything else. And he saw my friend, and he walked over to him. At that time, the press were there snapping photos, and he held up his hand, and the Secret Service asked the press to move away, and they moved them around to the other side of the building. And he got on his knee, and he talked to him for about 45 seconds. And then he put his arms around him, gave him one of the biggest hugs I've ever seen, and got up and left with no press, nobody else. The Donald Trump in person that you know is a sanctimonious dick. I believe you and I agree with you. But there is a different side to the man, and I just wish, just once, that everybody wouldn't have come out swinging. They said 3 hours after his inauguration they were going to impeach him. Every single news channel crushed him the moment, but they all supported him and they all loved him. All the rappers, all the celebrities, they all went to his parties. He was given 2 Rainbow Coalition Awards by Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. He was NAACP of the Year for New York for housing. And yes, I know what he did in the 70s, and I know what his father did. But if they just would have given him just one iota of a chance, could it possibly have went different? I'm just asking a question. That's it.
So I'll just answer it with his speech. His inaugural speech is what turned anyone that had thought there might be a chance. That inaugural speech, never have I heard one before it, and hopefully I'll never hear another one like it. That inaugural speech was
What was it that bothered you?
Everything. The way he talked about us as a country, the way he was so adamant about, the entire speech. Like I said, there is nothing about Donald Trump that I can find. I can't hear his voice. I can't see his face. I will turn to another channel as soon as I hear his voice. It completely.
Well, now you know how we feel about Hillary Clinton. Because we feel the same way about
I
Clinton.
feel that way about Obama.
I didn't
Really?
want.
Yes.
I didn't. You
Obama
did?
annoys the shit out of me.
We don't like Hillary Clinton at all. And I can stand Obama because
Hillary
he's a
was not
great.
my first choice. Yes, I voted
She
for
shouldn't
Hillary.
have been
but she
anybody's
was not my
choice.
first choice.
You know who wasn't her first choice? 4 U.S. soldiers and an ambassador. Here's the thing I'll say is Obama is a great orator, and I think he is an extremely funny man, and he has control of his party. I'll give him that compliment. I have absolutely nothing nice to say about Hillary Clinton either, even though I have a couple that I could say. And I don't hate Joe Biden. I don't respect him, and I don't like him. And I don't like his policies.
You don't
and
respect
I think
Joe Biden?
No, I think he's weak.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's weak. Yeah, I do. Sure do.
Did
I
he
do.
seem weak last week when he was with NATO? That looked weak to you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it did.
I think he's got the beginnings of dementia, and my grandmother had dementia for years, and he's acted just like she did when she at the very beginning.
He's
not all there, unfortunately.
listen.
My mother had dementia,
Yeah,
so I know what dementia is.
Joe Biden was never a credible human being, and he never was for 47 years in what he did. He was not an ethical person. He hung out. Listen, you don't like racists. I know you don't. Well, why did he eulogize Byrd? Why did he eulogize Strom Thurmond? Why did he eulogize George Wallace? The man is an absolute closet racist, and I despise his cowardice. I despise that he's a plagiarist. But you know what? I'd have a beer with him. I would. Because I know I would like to have a beer with him, at least, because he just seems to be that guy. But I don't admire him as a president. No, ma'am, I don't. Because honor is important to me.
Joe Biden was not my first choice either, so just so you know. But I mean, I will.
Who are you voting? Are you voting for? You're a
Joe.
Bernie bro, aren't you? Yeah, you're a Bernie bro.
I was
right?
Bernie. I was
I have a
absolutely
feeling.
with Bernie.
You know what? I'll give
100%
Bernie a compliment. You ready to hear it? At least he was always honest, and he never hid. He was
still
always
is.
honest. And you know what? I love it
still
about him.
is.
I hate his politics, but I love his passion, and I love that he's honest and he doesn't lie. That means a lot to me. See, we agree on more than you think. All right.
All right.
Is there a question that we have to ask this lady?
Do I just hang up?
No.
No, you can go. And listen, thank you, ma'am. Seriously, thank you.
Do
If
I
I've
just hang up the
insulted you or
phone?
offended you.
How do I
yeah,
get
you
off?
just hang up. Hang up. It was good to talk to you. Call in
Okay.
again, will you?
Thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye. I can get along with anybody if we have enough time. If we have enough time, I can get along with any human being. You got to kind of
I had to ban the other troll.
Why?
Because he started linking other sites.
Oh yeah, screw that guy. We don't do that. Was he Rumble?
Yeah.
Is there anybody else you wanted to come on?
his
Who
name
was the
was-
person that said I'm a jerk spear, Barbara or whatever? Who was
Yeah.
that? Is that what was her name?
I don't remember, but she didn't say you. or
DUM
me.
Show is really appropriate. Rude idiot spear.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I asked her, I said, which spear are you talking about? Because there's 2 of us on the show, and she never answered me. But yeah, this dude, his name is Calling Guy something, and he just came in spewing nonsense. And I'm like, I don't even understand. I think he probably wouldn't have lasted more than a few seconds because I could tell the tone of his voice.
Most guys can't.
Well, he would say something, and then he'd be like, Olivia, with a question mark, or Olivia this. I'm like, I could tell in the tone that he was going to be really, really rude, and you were going to frickin' eat him for breakfast.
Oh no! But see, I don't allow people to be rude. If you're going to try to overtalk me, it's not going to work. You're never going to overtalk because I just won't. I've got the buttons. I got the control panel. I'll just mute your ass.
Her name is Barbara Foston.
Yeah, I saw her. And you know what? She's not here. Listen, there's nothing. I respect her more than any troll that's been on my site today. At least she called. At least she came in. I will have a conversation with anybody, and I'll talk about any subject, or I won't. And if I don't talk about it, it means I don't know what I'm talking about. I openly admit I did not know how many soldiers were killed in Vietnam. And you think I would know this because I didn't have a definitive answer, but I thought it was closer to 125 to 145,000. Now I might be adding in Cambodia, Korea. It doesn't matter. The point is I didn't know it was 58,000. That's way low. But we can learn something from each other. I learned some things from her, but I think there's a lot here. Let me be honest. I think a lot of what she knows, she doesn't remember. She's an older lady. She has served as a teacher. I respect that. I don't think she should give herself accolades for the job that teachers are doing today. I completely disagree with her ideals that socialism has ever worked and that Finland and Sweden and Denmark are socialist, which they're not. There has never been a socialist country on the planet that has been successful. 100 million deaths are associated with socialism, and ultimately every socialist country is turned communist. So when she says she's a democratic socialist, I don't believe there is such a thing. That's like saying you're a NAAC supremacist. They just don't go together. It's like you're anti-masturbation and a Pee Wee Herman fan. I just don't. You're a Kate Moss, but you're anti bulimia. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like military intelligence. It's an oxymoron. Socialism is not democratic. It's never been democratic. It is all about the state, and the state has complete control. That is antithetical to democracy. Even democracy knows that, which believes in majority control and mob rule. But at least it's not state-run control. Everything for the state, and nothing else but for the state. That's socialism and communism. I like the fact that she came on. I appreciate the fact that she was tougher than most. I think what she said about Eli was bullshit, and the fact that she tried to challenge me on the Constitution and didn't know it herself baffled me. Like, I'm shocked that you don't know what the first sentence of the Constitution of the United States is, and you don't know that it's we. That's a little hard for me to believe that a teacher doesn't know that. I think ultimately it's late. She had a lot of information coming at her. I'm not an easy person to talk to and bullshit, and she tried, and I frazzled her a little bit, but overall I thought she handled herself well. I wear everybody down over time. I don't let people say things that aren't true, and I won't do it. I refuse. You can say whatever you want, but to sit here and say that I'm against all wars, but I support Ukraine, I think that is the most ridiculous thing in the world, because and that nation building works. It doesn't, and it hasn't. And World War II was not nation building. It was literally building up Europe in order to defend itself against a very strong and prominent Russian force that had absolutely every desire to expand and create the Bolshevik Revolution 2.0 in Europe. And America's best interest was to arm the countries, unlike Germany, to ensure that our allies were strong with NATO and supply them the best weaponry possible, because we had a plethora of money. That's the one thing we didn't run out of. We always had money. That's not nation building. It didn't replace their form of government. It didn't replace their leadership. It didn't replace their infrastructure. All it did was provide them money to rebuild their country. That's what the United States is. That's not nation building. Well, that's it, folks. Liv, I know we sacrificed a lot of our time, but how did you feel?
Definitely a little biased, and very happy that our children do not go to school in her school district that she taught at. If they allowed her to teach that shit in her school and allowed her to go off what was supposed to be the curriculum, and she taught her own stuff, yeah, glad she's not my kid's teacher.
Can I say something? A couple of people are like, shh, she's listening. I hope she is, because you're so grumpy.
I'm not grumpy.
You're just like, I don't care. It's not that I don't care. I'm not embarrassed, because everything I'm saying here, I'd say to her face. I don't talk behind people's back. In fact, I hope she's listening, because I'm trying to give her a fair critique. I think I had to raise my voice a couple of times because I think she wanted to say her agenda and just get it out. But when you start off that you're a cultist, there's really, there's not many ways you can not have an argument out of that debate. I mean, you insulted me. You called me a cultist. You called me a follower when I've been a leader my whole life. Really frustrating. So, of course, I'm immediately going to be a little put off. We're going to have to combat each other. But overall, in the end, I like her. I would love to talk to her again. I have a lot of socialist people who I talk to because every time I want to know why I'm not a socialist, I just have to talk to one. They're good to keep around. All right. God bless everybody. Thanks for watching. Dude, this all started when I was leaving the show. The ending of it was playing. It was ready to shut down, and I heard there's a troll. And what did Olivia say? Oh, I'll put off Deb for this. Now, the other night, she got mad at me and said, well, you got sucked in. This wasn't me. This was all you guys and her, because I was ready to pop smoke, but you guys got me to stick around. You guys can call in on Monday. Anybody else want to argue and disagree? We can do that, and hopefully we get to an amicable place. I had a lot of fun tonight. I appreciate you. I love a good debate. I love a good argument, and that's it. God bless everybody. We'll talk to you, I don't know, Monday.
Night, y'all.
Say goodbye, Liv.
Night, y'all.
Night, y'all. See ya.
I'm David Boreanaz with the Cast of SEAL team, and we have an important message for returning vets. We want you to know if you're struggling to cope, there's help and it's just a phone call away.
The Veterans Crisis Line is staffed with experienced professionals who know your struggles.
There's no greater sacrifice in service to our country. We're able to enjoy our freedoms because of it.
Your service is important. You are important. For vets and their families, the Veterans Crisis Line is here to help 24 hours a day. Please call.
Yeah, we're talking. Ethan had a bloody nose. Good night, everybody.